more than 3 million pages, including more than 2,000 videos and 180,000 images.
Our Wendy Gillette reports on what's new.
The newly released files show convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein pleaded the fifth to every question when asked about his relationship with former President Bill Clinton in a 2016 deposition. They included whether he was close friends with Clinton and if he flew on Epstein's personal jet. A New York socialite's email also mentions Clinton and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos visiting the home of Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell in 2009.
Actor Catherine O'Hara has died at 71. CBS's Matt Wolf.
Catherine O'Hara spent over 50 years in TV and film.
Welcome to English for Beginners.
Starting out in sketch comedy as a writer, then as a performer in Canada's famed Second City sketch comedy troupe.
I would rather talk about...
From there, a string of hit movies in the 80s followed, like Beetlejuice and Home Alone.
Kevin!
Most recently, she won an Emmy for her role as the always outrageous Moira Rose on Schitt's Creek.
I need to speak with our daughter.
Good luck.
Matt Wolf, CBS News.
Former CNN anchor Don Lemon, according to the Department of Homeland Security, has been charged with federal civil rights crimes. Lemon and 3 other people had been arrested in connection with an anti-immigration enforcement protest at City's Church in St. Paul. CBS's Anna Schechter points out
the charges relate to impeding people from attending a religious ceremony. So that's violation of their rights, and that's a First Amendment right. So it's kind of interesting because the charges are related to the First Amendment, but then he and his lawyer are saying, well, wait a minute, I was exercising my First Amendment right to cover the protest.
A federal judge says evidence found in Luigi Mangioni's backpack can be used at trial. But the judge has also barred federal prosecutors from seeking the death penalty against him if he's convicted of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in December 2024. President Trump nominates Kevin Warsh to replace Jerome Powell as Federal Reserve Chair.
In the whole country, I would say that this was the perfect candidate. This was not a surprise or anything. This was the man that's most qualified.
He's a former Board of Governors member serving from 2006 to 2011, and in a recent op-ed piece called The Fed's Leadership Broken. Jerome Powell's term as Fed chair ends in May. Stocks right now are down on Wall Street. The Dow has fallen 250 points. This is CBS News.
Real crimes, real justice. Follow and listen to 48 Hours on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The city of Seattle has to pay out $30 million. Details on the way. First, your KIRO Newsradio traffic. Be sure to watch for standing water this morning or this afternoon now as we have heavy rain across most of the region. Overall, we're looking pretty good, though. Heading into Seattle, well, South 5, you're going to slow in Northgate. In the downtown, it's 20-25 minutes to travel from Linwood to Seattle. North 5, we're going to slow at the West Seattle Bridge in the downtown. You'll catch a little breather, and then that revived I-5 back up at the Ship Canal Bridge has traffic jammed up just past Mercer. South 405, we're seeing building volumes between Factoria and Renton, 20 minutes from Bellevue to Renton. And if you're heading over our passes anytime soon, no restrictions at Snoqualmie, White, and Blewett. Stevens Pass has traction tires advised, and oversized vehicles are prohibited due to snowy conditions. This report is brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
And good afternoon, I'm Nate Connors. Seattle police arrested a suspected trespasser who was carrying a hatchet and a makeshift dagger.
Late Wednesday night, a security guard told police about the 41-year-old man who was spotted near Broadway East and East Denny Way. Police say the guard approached him, tried to get him to leave, but he refused. Officers told him to leave too. He refused again, so he was arrested. They say he had a black hatchet with a duct tape handle and a makeshift push dagger wrapped in wire, which they say appears to have no other use than to hurt someone. He was booked into jail for criminal trespassing and unlawful use of weapons. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
The city of Seattle has been ordered to pay more than $30 million after a jury found it liable in the killing of 16-year-old Antonio Mays Jr. in 2020. He was shot in the chop zone. Mays' father spoke with KIRO 7 TV after the verdict.
Big-hearted, kind-hearted, and hard-working. That's the kind of, memory that should resonate when they think about my son. Somebody that when you see him coming, he cares about you.
Mays was shot in the chop zone, and witnesses called 911, but paramedics refused to enter the area. A nationwide strike is planned for today. Businesses across the country will close to protest the fatal shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minnesota by federal officers.
Here in Seattle and across western Washington, dozens of businesses will be closed. In Seattle, the Pink Door says it did not have enough time to organize its business for a full shutdown, but it will be donating 10% of its sales for the entire day to the National Immigrant Justice Center. The Trump administration maintains agents acted in self-defense in the Minnesota shootings. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson is cooking up a new bet with Boston Mayor Michelle Wu as the Seahawks get ready to face the Patriots in Super Bowl 60. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more.
Mayors Wilson and Wu are in serious negotiations over what they're willing to put on the line as the Hawks play the Pats next Sunday.
There's been some talk of Dungeness crab and lobster. Also some talk about, wearing each other's jerseys while riding public transit.
Wilson recently made good on her reverse bet, sending local coffee to LA Mayor Karen Bass.
In retrospect, it's a little strange because we won.
Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
And now your KIRO News Radio weather. The rain will taper off this afternoon. We could see partly sunny skies, high around 52. Saturday morning showers and then afternoon sun. It's going to be a really nice afternoon tomorrow with a high near 60. 49 in showers in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome to the show. Happy Friday. Jake Skorheim sitting alongside Spike O'Neill.
Hey, brother.
We did it, Spike. We got through another week.
Yeah, what a week. Fast
we
week.
went fast.
Didn't it?
Really fast.
I think it's a little bit the euphoria of knowing we got a Super Bowl on our horizon.
No.
Right?
It's fun. It's like Christmas Day. Something fun to look forward to.
The time just races.
Just races towards it. Okay, a couple things we're going to talk about today. First off, we want to mention, so sad, Catherine O'Hara. We got the news just a little bit ago that she passed away. I haven't seen what it was from yet, but she was 71 years old. Her family just released a statement saying that she passed.
After a brief illness is all that I've seen. I've looked at numerous sources trying to find a little more details, but with respect to the family, it'll come out in time.
I don't know if you could find, we'll talk more about this a little bit later in the show, but I don't know if you could find somebody who is more beloved by everyone than she is. I mean, and she goes back, she's loved by multi-generations. I mean, it's too much to get into right now, so we'll save it for a little bit. We'll get into that. Also, did you just hear that clip that Nate was playing about Katie Wilson?
I heard
and
it.
the bet with Boston Mayor.
I noticed your ears perk up too.
Explain that to me. So what happened? She's making a bet with the Boston Mayor for
there's a time on it. We've all done this. It happens every time you get a big showdown. Sure. The mayor of cities represented in major sporting events will make a wager on the outcome of the series. Very ceremonial, very performative. So Mayor Wilson is in right now conversations with the mayor of Boston about what to bet on the Patriot-Seahawks Super Bowl. And they were talking about lobster and crab and yada yada. They're very mundane, run-of-the-mill, great. You want to know what to bet, Your Honor, Mayor Wilson?
Cash.
How about daycare for a year?
Oh, okay.
How about when the Seahawks win, Mayor of Boston's got to watch you. I know it's an issue. Watch your kid for a whole year, right?
Well, what's her parents going to do? I guess would her parents be paying the Boston Mayor to do this, like her other daycare?
I'm glad you brought that up. No, that's on the Mayor of Boston's dime. That's what happens when you lose a bet.
Yeah.
That's what made us notice. So apparently, Mayor Wilson made a bet with Mayor Bass from Los Angeles and then sent her coffee.
The mayor Seattle won that game. So why did she say that? Why she pay?
Therein lies the rub, to quote the Bard. If you win a bet,
therein lies the rub.
That's a Shakespearean quote.
Okay,
yeah,
that's good.
That's the root of the issue. Therein lies the rub.
Yeah, that's great.
When you win a bet, you collect.
Usually.
I'm not an expert.
Usually.
So if we won the game, why is the mayor of Seattle sending the mayor of L.A. coffee?
This is probably a good indication of how she's going to govern the city.
Is this a good shepherd of our city's resources?
No, it's absolutely not.
What the heck?
No. That coffee should be staying right here in Seattle.
And not that you want anything from L.A. What are you going to send? Spray cans? Send us some spray paint? What are you going to send us from L.A. that we need?
I could think of a few things we wouldn't want.
Right?
Yeah.
They have nothing I want.
Could they all just agree to step down from their jobs?
Loser quits.
Loser has to leave their job for a year. Loser has to leave for a year and just watch the city flourish. in both cities, in both Boston and Seattle. If they leave for a year under their leadership, they would out from under their leadership. They probably would flourish.
Take a year's vacation.
Take a vacation.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
And you know what? We could even still pay them.
Sure, I'm happy to.
Yeah, we could make an investment in the town.
Yes.
If you're not here, that's all right.
Hey, San Juan Island's doing it, paying you not to work.
Yeah.
State of Washington's thinking about it, paying you not to work.
That's true.
Right?
32 hours a week. That's so funny. What a weird thing to do when you win a bet.
I'm gonna have to. I know Luke Ducey covered that because it's a lifestyle color story with regard to the Super Bowl. I want to make sure I heard that right. That we won and yet are still paying on that bet. That seems maybe I misheard that.
I feel like Bass just told her. She goes, "Well, now you got to pay me." And Wilson's like, "Okay,
you're new at this mayor game.
Is that how it works? Okay."
It's like John Candy in Stripes. See, if we were in Europe, I'd make your bunk, but we're not. We're here, so you have to make my bunk. You're new at this.
Oh, John Candy. I miss John Candy.
I know. Speaking of Maureen O'Hara, it's going to be hard.
Catherine O'Hara. The two of them had some, the history that those two had going all the way back to SCTV and even before that. I think they went to college together.
I think you're right.
It's unreal. And they're so great. We'll talk about Catherine O'Hara in just a little bit. Yeah. All right. Let's start off with this one. I need your help explaining this, Spike. Sure. I think you can hopefully explain this. This is there's a shutdown thing happening today.
Yeah, we mentioned it yesterday. The national no work, no school, no shopping.
There's walkouts, yeah. So let's see here. The Seattle Times had this. I think everybody probably has some version of the story.
Yeah.
The National Political Movement 50501 organized a protest under the banner, quote, "No work, no school, no shopping, stop funding ICE." So what do they want you to do? And
peaceful protest. Basically, in a nutshell, peaceful protest.
Explain that to me, though. I don't
economic
understand.
impact.
For what?
For what? It's to.
What's the end goal?
To get.
They want to get rid of ICE completely.
I think I don't know.
They say stop funding ICE. I assume that means they would want it to be.
I think they want more restrictions on how ICE does business.
Well, they say stop funding.
Well, maybe they want less money to go to ICE. I know part of the government shutdown negotiations are a separate bill with regard to funding DHS, which is the parent company of our parent organization of ICE,
which last year got funding for like the next many years.
Yeah, but I think I'm not sure the political dynamics of how that funding works. But part of the new funding bill that was required to keep the government from shutting down, including the DHS budget, which I guess has to be reappropriated, and the people in Congress are mostly Democratic, but with some Republican support.
The last time they did this whole thing,
there was like a $10 billion ICE budget.
They preloaded it because they assumed that this would be a bargaining chip. So they have funding.
Yeah.
My question, though, is
why does the country?
Well, here's a question for you. Okay, so there's a bunch of local businesses who are not operating today.
Businesses are closing today. Certain businesses are donating a portion of their proceeds if they're not closing today
to the businesses in Minneapolis that have been
oftentimes to local immigrant services organizations, nonprofits, charities, things like that help to support immigrant communities in the city of Seattle.
In Minneapolis, yeah, portion of proceeds to eateries in Minneapolis, so that businesses can close on Friday.
There are businesses also that are donating to local organizations as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
Some are going right to Minneapolis.
So here's my question. Sure. So this is like a Macklemore was pushing this as well.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
The rapper Macklemore. No work. This is their slogan. No work, no school, no shopping. Stop funding ICE.
Mm-hmm.
ICE is not getting funding at schools or work or shopping. And now those businesses that you're saying don't go shop at, this more seems to me like almost like an anti-capitalist thing. You don't want somebody going and support a local business, and that's how you're going to stick it to ICE. I'm not trying to be obstinate here or pretend like I don't get it. I honestly don't get how this, like a local business, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's struggling. Everybody's trying to make ends meet.
Okay.
And the goal here is don't shop at a local business.
Mm-hmm. How does that get all the way to the top? You want to know?
Well, how does that stop funding ICE?
Well, it's a redress of grievances.
With a local donut shop?
Part of the U.S. Constitution's, our Bill of Rights, the ability to redress grievances with your government.
That's what a protest is, yes.
Sure. So when people don't go to school, when people don't shop, when people don't go to work, it affects economically the businesses in that community, the schools in that community, the retailers in that community, right?
But doesn't that hurt the retail? Is that hurting ICE?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring me there.
When you like any protest as an economic protest, we've mentioned the bus strike back in I think it was I forget where Martin Luther King, but we mentioned it yesterday on Selma with the bridge. I want to misquote the facts here.
Stay local. Yeah.
When businesses feel the impact of protests in mass, when a community, a city, a country Let's businesses know. Let's retailers. Let's employers know. Let schools know that they've got an issue with the way government's operating.
Mm-hmm.
Those businesses, those school districts, those retailers, they then complain to their representatives. It moves up the food chain. Then the food
Civil
chain.
rights bus makes sense to me because they're saying we're not going to vote with our dollars to get on the bus.
Right.
We're not going to pay to get on the bus. We're going to walk instead. We're going to make that sacrifice.
Right.
We're going to walk, and then you're going to feel the direct impact of that.
Sure.
Right? That makes sense. No school.
The bus company was a private company, I'm sure.
No, I know.
They didn't shop in those same Selma, whatever cities they were, Montgomery, Alabama,
sure,
Mobile, whatever it may be. When the
I understand. I understand that.
This is no different. This is no different.
This is the same.
Yeah, you're trying to show with a massive effort of support.
How is
nationwide.
a child skipping school the same as a bus strike?
I'm sure, of course, there are differences there, but they're trying to show this as a uniform. We all care enough to keep our kids out of school today. Teachers don't go teach today.
There's schools that have shut down, not locally, but there's schools that have shut down because not enough teachers showed up.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of kids whose parents rely on them being in school.
Sure, yeah. And some families think it's worth it to make a statement to their local representatives, to their state representatives, to their national representatives.
I totally get it.
Yeah,
I totally understand what you're saying.
That's what it is.
I'm still just trying to understand how no work, no school, no shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Stop funding ICE locally here. Having your kids skip school, I don't understand how that's because they don't like the federal. They don't like ICE.
Some people care enough about this issue that they don't like the way the federal government is spending our tax dollars to treat communities in our country, of immigrant communities in our country. And I'm not talking about illegal. I'm not talking about illegal criminals. I'm not talking about the worst of the worst of the worst, which we all can agree they want them gone.
Well, not Katie Wilson.
But there's a lot of people in this city, and I would argue that Katie Wilson also wants the worst of the worst of the worst gone.
Let's read it.
But that's what the walkout is all about. Is just showing your support for a point of view, redressing your grievances to your government.
Gotcha. Okay. It's still a little bit.
It doesn't make sense to everybody. I get it.
Not to everybody, but
I'm not trying to tell you you're wrong to feel that way.
Katie Wilson, she says, today I announced an initial set of actions to protect city residents in the face of increased federal immigration enforcement activity.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's what she put out. She's directing SPD to investigate, verify, and document ICE activity.
Okay.
Mandate SPD's verified information to share with community partners. Prohibit ICE from staging operations on city property, which would include public parks, things like that. Invest $4 million to support immigrant communities, and establish the Stand Together Seattle initiative.
Right.
So, what is SPD now doing? Is SPD just so? Like in Minneapolis, they have that signal network that everybody was talking about, where they're going around and
alerting
making
people
sure
to
that
ICE,
everything is documented.
Right. Yeah.
Is that essentially what SPD's function will be now? Is to go around and do that?
From what I understand of this directive from the mayor, is that they want to make sure the Seattle Police Department has now been tasked with making sure that ICE obeys the law, the laws of the land, that they operate within a legal structure and a constitutional framework. I think that's all this directive is asking.
I should definitely.
Yeah.
Prohibit ICE from staging operations on city property. What do you think of that?
I think it's fine.
So let me ask you this. ICE is going to go in. Let's say ICE wants to go in. They let the city know. Now, Seattle doesn't cooperate with ICE. Is that right? Seattle doesn't work with ICE?
Seattle doesn't share information.
Sanctuary city?
It's a sanctuary city, but that means a lot of people don't know what that means.
What does it mean?
What do you think it means?
I think it means that they don't coordinate with ICE to make targeted arrests.
They don't share information allowing to help federal law enforcement do their job.
Yeah.
That's a fair assessment of it.
That's
fair assessment.
Summed it up?
Yeah.
All right. So ICE Seattle detained a guy. This was just a couple hours ago they put this out. Criminal illegal from Cuba. He had a 2008 removal order.
Mm-hmm.
He has a pretty lengthy rap sheet: assault, identity theft, possession of methamphetamine. He's been arrested for robbery 4 different times, felony possession of a weapon. The ICE Seattle picked him up. Would Mayor Wilson's new mandate, this is my question, because that's a guy we can all agree shouldn't be there, right?
Sure, of course. I think the mayor would agree with you. I think the SPD would agree with you.
But she's saying, let's say they wanted to set up then they know where this guy's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get him.
Sure.
And to do that, they have to park on city property somewhere in order to all get together so they can safely go and, do the thing so it's safe.
I'm sure at that point they would have a warrant to do this arrest,
but
as they should by
they
law.
Won't cooperate.
You give me one particular incident of a very, very bad guy. I can't say the city won't. And we could do this all day with anecdotal.
I know. There's a lot of them. I have a long list here.
And I could also show you a long list of people who go to court for their court-appointed immigration hearing, and ICE grabs him at the courthouse. Part of this is ICE can't set up shop.
You can make a very good argument to me that I would totally understand about not grabbing people at the hearings.
The same with you don't have to read off the list of rapists, murderers, and thieves. You don't have to. You could, but you waste a lot of people's time because we all agree
it's
that
not a waste because here's the reason.
Because they all want criminals arrested, dude.
Here's the thing. No, if Katie Wilson's putting this out saying that SPD will not work with them and that they're not even allowed on public property, and if they're going to make an arrest of a guy here's a guy.
They say unless they have a warrant, they said in this directive.
Unless they have a warrant. I'm not seeing that here. ICE agents are forbidden from staging operations in city-owned community centers, public facilities, parking lots, or any other city-owned property. That was Katie Wilson's post.
Okay, well, let's get the mayor's representative here because I can't defend the mayor's point of view.
Here's another one.
To accurately.
51-year-old guy from Laos.
Please don't keep doing this.
No, I'm doing this because I'm not doing this to you. I'm doing it because I'm asking the question of Katie Wilson. I think this is important.
Well, then let's get the mayor's office on the phone.
I would love to.
I'm sure. With these anecdotal individuals.
It's not anecdotal. I'm not trying to stick it to you.
It's frustrating when you defend it. I'm talking about you either. When I hear, Christy
I don't want you to defend it. It doesn't need to be defended.
It doesn't. No, you're right.
This doesn't make sense. So when she says they're not allowed on public property, if they're trying to get this guy who was arrested near King County, he was sentenced to 50 months in prison for rape.
Well, let's ask Katie Wilson.
Convicted of rape.
And let's ask Katie Wilson if that's what she's intending to protect convicted rapists.
That would be a great question.
Wanted people with warrants out for their arrest.
Yes.
With deportation at valid deportation orders.
Sean Barnes. I saw Sean Barnes. They asked him about this. He goes, "Yeah, we actually have no jurisdiction over the federal government. We can't stop them from doing these things. So what we can do is, like Katie Wilson says, we can film them, but we're not going to get in their way."
That's the rule for everybody.
So my question, though,
protesters,
we do see all over the news people are getting mixed up in things that they shouldn't. But my question is, if she's saying they're not even allowed to park on any city property, it's not for you, it's for Katie Wilson. If you're arresting bad people, can't we all agree that we want them to get convicted rapists off the streets?
Absolutely, but can we also agree they don't want them to worry about school kids or day workers on city 100%. Property? Well, that's what ICE has been doing.
Isn't it also dangerous, though, if you have a convicted rapist walking around for people in schools and people working in city properties?
Of course it is, but here's with regard to sanctuary cities, right? You guys are not you guys. Many people are against sanctuary cities, right? Sanctuary cities are nothing but trouble, right? A lot of the intent of a sanctuary city is that witnesses who testify in courts who have illegal status and who are not here legally, who are illegal immigrants to this country with no criminal records other than being here illegally.
Sure.
And I know that's illegal, but it's also a misdemeanor. It's another issue to talk about. When you have a trial of a criminal, a violent criminal, and you need witnesses to come to court to put that guy in jail.
Sure.
But people won't come to court because they're worried about being grabbed by ICE because they're
totally fine.
Well,
don't grab the witnesses. That's fine.
That's why they can't go. They want ICE setting up on court properties, on city court properties, county court properties. That's one of the reasons.
I would rather they just say,
"Hey,
let's not grab the witnesses, but let's grab the rapists." Can we all agree on that?
Yeah, but they haven't been doing that. They've been setting up shop.
The blanket statement from Katie Wilson, though, is they're not allowed anywhere. We're not going to allow them anywhere. We're going to have police following them around.
Let's get them on to clarify.
Also, is this the best use of Seattle Police Department's time?
To protect the citizenry? Yeah, I think it is.
What else is Seattle Police Department? They have nothing else to do in the city right now?
Of course they do.
No, that's an honest question. All I hear about is how understaffed they are. I feel like, is this going to direct time away from other things that the city might be interested in?
It may.
This to me feels a little bit political. It's a statement made on I know she made this yesterday, but this is like today's the National Walkout Day. She's a new mayor of a city. And this to me feels like one of those things where it's a political statement that's maybe not fully thought through.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a political statement. And I'll give you that it's a political statement. Of course, she's a politician, can't fault her for that. But if part of the city's resources are dedicated to protect the immigrant population of the city who's here legally.
I have no problem with protecting people who are here legally.
That's what she's doing. There's no problem with her making this dictate. Right?
I mean,
you can see that you could frame it and say, and maybe you view it this way, that she's making it political.
I'm not framing it anyway. I'm saying I see this thing that says they're not allowed on any public property for staging purposes, and then I see this other thing where they're arresting some really bad guys, and I think to myself, I'm happy that they're arresting really bad guys.
Let's ask the mayor's office for some clarification.
That's a good question.
When are you going to let federal agencies come onto city property?
Great question.
Because there are moments where it's absolutely
appropriate. Would you agree that that's a good idea?
Absolutely.
We both agree.
Dude, nobody wants knuckleheads and hardened criminals and violent criminals on the streets. Nobody does.
I didn't even have a chance to get to my long list of people, Spike. We agreed too quick.
Fair enough.
All right. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We're going to be right back.
Doubted.
More questions about Sam Darnold.
Underestimated.
I would say 10-7.
Questioned at every turn.
The question mark on this team is the offensive line.
We did not care. It's about us. It's always been about us and what we do. And now we're going to the Super Bowl.
The only place you'll hear Steve Rabel call the Seahawks and Patriots in Super Bowl 60, where the 12s hear the Hawks. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
This winter, drive with confidence in a Subaru from Subaru of Puyallup. From rainy commutes to icy roads, Subaru's legendary all-wheel drive and advanced safety are built for our winters. Subaru of Puyallup is known for something even better, a stress-free car buying experience. No pressure, no games. Just friendly Subaru experts helping you find the right vehicle at the right price. Start shopping now and see our stress-free pricing exclusively at SubaruofPuyallup.com. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership, part of the Harnish Auto family.
Ever notice how everyone has their own idea of clean?
Yeah, your clean desk still has 3 coffee cups.
Yeah, but clean energy is simple. It means no carbon emissions.
And that's what nuclear energy delivers, while providing steady, reliable electricity.
Those big white clouds above a nuclear power plant? Just water vapor, like warm breath on a cold day.
Nuclear energy provides 10% of Washington's electricity, all without adding carbon to the air.
Learn more at energy-northwest.com.
Energy Northwest, powering our clean energy future.
The Boat Show, the Boat Show, the Big Seattle Boat Show.
The Big Seattle Boat Show is happening now through February 7th. It's the best time to buy, with big selection, big discounts, and big fun for everyone. It's a big deal. Presented by Sundance Yachts and Port of Seattle. Make it a date Friday evenings with Boat Show After Dark, featuring unforgettable ambiance, music, food, beer, and wine. Details and discount tickets at seattleboatshow.com.
This is Lynn. She's always been active, maybe a little too active back in the day.
When I was 19 years old and immortal, I stripped out all my ligament and I had to have 6 knee surgeries, and that's on my right knee. And then my left knee finally gave out and had a torn meniscus.
Years of pain followed until she saw Dr. Mark Wagner at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'm 4 months out and I have no pain in my knees, and I have had knee pain my whole life. I have no concept of what it was like without pain. It's a miracle. I'm totally thrilled.
No pain, no limits.
Dr. Wagner gave me the green light to ski again this year. I'm like, that's incredible. So I'm just so excited.
After years of surgeries and setbacks, Lynn finally got her freedom back.
I think he saved my legs, so saved my knees, and gave me at least another 10, 15 years to do what I want to do.
If joint pain is holding you back, find out what stem cell therapy could do for you with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com. How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I was able to achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. I'm surprised and relieved every time I look in the mirror. You need to know what that feels like. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there is no one I would trust more than Advanced Hair Restoration. I experienced their exceptional standard of care firsthand. Your comfort and your results are the top priority of the entire Advanced Hair team. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185. Discover what meeting your resolutions could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
For seniors, the new year is a good time to reassess finances. If you're struggling with bills, our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says a reverse mortgage may be a great way to ease your stress.
Seniors tell me all the time, we love our home, we'd love to stay here, but we just can't afford it anymore. A reverse mortgage lets you tap your home equity for tax-free cash to pay off your mortgage, pay off your debts, and maybe put some extra money in the bank. You've worked hard for that home equity. Now let your home work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. You'll get a no-pressure consultation directly from me. Never a sales pitch and never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage experts, the VA loan and debt consolidation experts too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
There are 5 things money can do for you: growth, liquidity, cash flow, protection, and tax advantages. Don't miss an opportunity because your current retirement plan only focuses on 2 or 3 of them. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
DUI? Felony charge? Trust Bradley Johnson Lawyers and 1-800-DUI-OA. Over 30 years serving the Pacific Northwest and hundreds of 5-star reviews. Every mistake has a solution at 1-800-DUI-OA.
1-800-DUI-OA! KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. There's an effort to avoid a partial government shutdown. Reports say President Donald Trump and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer are working to separate funding for the Department of Homeland Security from a package of 5 other spending bills. Washington Senator Maria Cantwell is one of a group of lawmakers refusing to vote for the spending package if that funding is included.
I've talked to many Washingtonians, and they're very worried about what's transpired in Minnesota. They're very worried about what's transpired in Minnesota because they think that someone has lost their life that didn't need to lose their life.
If a deal isn't reached, a partial shutdown could begin at 12:01 Saturday morning. A Seattle police officer is recovering after a violent scuffle during an arrest Wednesday night.
SPD says officers found a car parked illegally near 33rd Avenue South and South Spokane Street. It had no plates, and a man inside the car was drinking tequila. When they tried to cuff him, they say he resisted, injuring one of the officers before being tased. The 35-year-old is a convicted felon who police say had a gun on him, which is illegal because he's a felon. The injured officer had to go to the hospital, but is expected to be okay. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Police in Tukwila started their morning with a car chase and officer-involved shooting. Amazingly, there were no injuries. Officers tried to stop a car with no license plates around 3:20. Police say that driver ignored them and took off. At one point, an officer fired their gun. They finally stopped it using a pit maneuver to disable the car. Turns out the suspect was under the influence and had a suspended license and was driving a stolen car. They were booked on investigation of multiple felony charges. Multiple cougar sightings have been reported on Muckleshoot tribal land. So many were reported yesterday that schools are warning parents to keep a close eye on small children and not leave them alone at bus stops. Seattle's mayor is preparing the city for a potential surge of ice activity. KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas details part of that plan.
An immediate executive order will be issued banning federal agents from city-owned or city-controlled properties. So think things like city parks, parking lots, plazas, vacant lots, storage facilities, garages, Seattle Center. You get the idea here.
The plan also requires police to record and document any reports of ICE activity. The mayor is also spending $4 million to support legal defense for immigrants and their advocates. Now your KIRO News Radio traffic. South 5 slows from Northgate in the downtown still, about 20 minutes between Linwood and Seattle. North 5 now scattered backups approaching the West Seattle Bridge to the Ship Canal Bridge. Southbound 405 is heavy through Factoria. Once you hit Cold Creek, you'll start to thin out into Renton. Bellevue to Renton, 15 minutes. And with steady rain across the map, be aware of standing water and make sure those lights are on. Your KIRO News Radio weather has rain tapering off this afternoon. Could see a little sun pop out and a high right around 52. Tomorrow could feel like early spring around here with a high near 60 and partly sunny after morning showers. We have light rain, foggy conditions, and 50 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. A lot of stuff to get to.
My gosh.
Can we talk about this thing that happened at UW?
Yes.
I find this audio fascinating. Como did a really good job.
Yeah, they did. It's a great piece.
Chris Daniels spoke to University of Washington's vice president for campus community. Her name is Sally Clark.
Campus community security. Isn't that what her title is?
I'm sorry,
right?
Community safety. Yeah, campus community safety.
Right.
This person's in charge of community safety.
Yes.
You remember back, what was it? A little over a year ago, you had some students who were protesting Gaza or something.
Yeah, nationwide, right before the end of the semester. Kind of the way they broke up a lot of these encampments on these campuses, where the school ended for the spring, and the students just went home and took their tents with them.
Yeah.
But so this was like last May, June area when it
sometime around there.
Yeah, because it was there for weeks.
The engineering building they got into
that was
caused
overtaken.
like $1 million worth of damage.
Because a conservative speaker,
bunch of horrible stuff was said.
scheduled to speak there.
Jewish students felt threatened. Horrible environment on the University of Washington campus, and those students were suspended, and now they get to go back to school.
Well, arrests were made, right? But because a lot of the protagonists, the instigators, antagonists in that scenario, they found were not students, but people who just joined into that student protest.
Many students as well.
Many students
the ones we're highlighting were students.
Yeah, they were arrested, and then they served. They did investigations, and the point of this whole story is.
No charges.
No charges have been brought, and that was Chris. Is it Chris Daniels?
Chris Daniels.
I want to make sure I get it right because I've been botching names all day.
Back to school.
Oh, back to school. Back to school to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool. I got my
engineering
lunch
building.
packed up, my boots tied tight. I hope I don't get in a fight. Oh, back to school.
Smashing windows. Breaking stuff.
Write horrible things.
About the Jews.
That's what happened.
I know.
You have the Jewish communities on campus. You have they were like, listen, you guys got to get a handle on this, UW, so we feel safe coming onto campus. Most people would assume that if you break into a building that's privately owned, which is on the campus, right? It's a private space. You can be there until you're told not to.
Sure.
And when they tell you to leave, if you don't leave, now you're trespassing.
Well, I'm not
you barricade
student, so
yourself in there.
Yeah.
You barricade yourself in there, and then you do $1 million worth of damage.
Yeah.
On top of all the stuff that they were saying and writing and making other student groups feel uncomfortable, and no charges filed. Well, Chris Daniels sat down again with Sally Clark, VP at Campus Community Safety at UW, and he said, hey, why haven't there any charges filed?
Was this case bungled by the University of Washington Police Department?
I would say charges have been filed, so that would be a mischaracterization. I mean, the department has worked extremely hard from that night.
There have been no charges filed with the prosecutor's office. There's been no charges filed by the prosecutor's office. There's no
The look on her face when he says that.
Yeah, it's telling.
Here's a question that I have. Did she not know that charges were not filed, or was she in the dark about it, or is she pretending like she thought is she pretending like charges had been filed, but she knew that they hadn't been filed, so she's pretending like she didn't know they weren't filed?
That's a great question. I don't. If she's that good of an actress, get the Emmys ready, get the Oscars ready, because
she seems genuinely confused.
Genuinely befuddled by this revelation that no charges have been filed. But let me ask you this: she's a director of community safety. I'm not sure it's the UW police, because UW has its own police department. These are the folks we heard from McNerthney.
Yep.
That they're awaiting information. Evidence.
I have that clip.
Has this case been bungled?
I don't think so. I think that when you see what is referred to us by UWPD and the requirements that we have and the communication, it will make more sense.
Have you requested additional information from the University of Washington Police Department?
Yes, we have.
Are you still waiting on that?
We are, yeah.
8 months after the fact?
Yeah.
Where is the accountability if ultimately no one is facing any sort of crime?
I think prosecutors want to see that accountability too.
So the prosecutors are ready to go.
Yeah.
But again, this lady says, wait a minute, what? Who's he? What's he? Charges? Huh?
Well,
no charges?
Well, we should speak to the UW police, the UW, because they have a. That's
her off the hook.
This isn't her. That hers.
What are you talking about? She's the president of Campus Community Safety. You don't think she has UW police reporting directly to her?
Possibly.
I would assume they're under the umbrella.
You know what they say about assuming? We all seen Bad News Bears.
I guess you're right.
I mean, because she may be completely in the dark that the UW Police Department hasn't provided.
To find a new line of work.
I couldn't agree with you more.
If you're going to give an interview, here would be my suggestion. And I'm not a PR person, but I do see a lot of news. If you're going to give an interview about students being arrested and not charged, you could assume that question's going to come up in the interview, and you might ask yourself, maybe I should get all my ducks in a row and know what I'm talking about before I talk to the local news about it. Like I should check in with the campus police. Right?
I would. That's a
if
very
your job
fair,
is vice president for campus community safety,
that's
which
a fair assumption to make.
I imagine that's a pretty high-paying job, isn't it?
I hope it is.
I could find out real fast.
Well, let me ask you this, because Chris Daniels is on there interviewing this chairman, vice president of community safety,
campus community safety.
Are they talking to this vice chairman of community safety about these students be allowed back to class? because that's a different issue than charges being filed.
Well, listen to this.
Right? I mean, because if no charges have been filed, these people have paid their restitutions or whatever requirements for them to receive their student status.
It's about charges. He asked her, he goes, if no charges are filed against these students, isn't that a missed opportunity? And listen to her answer.
There's no misdemeanors, no felonies.
Charges get forwarded by UWPD.
Right. We've seen the video evidence of the damage inside. If there are never charges filed in this case, is that a failure?
That would be a shame. It would be a lost. That would be, I think, a lost opportunity, and I think we would be disappointed by that.
She'd be disappointed.
A lost opportunity and disappointed. Those are our taxpayer dollars that fund this state university.
Yeah,
that's $1 million worth of damage.
$1 million Renos. Yeah. A lot of dough.
And well, this is a great question for the UW Police Department. I mean, they've got a law enforcement.
I'm going to look up the hierarchy.
They've got their own law.
I bet you she has ties with them.
I'm sure she has ties with them. But
there's a shorthand there that we could.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this story in, and I'm glad we're getting a chance to talk about this story because it clearly, well, they're all coming back, and we just didn't send any info in. So King County prosecutors who would like to bring charges. I mean, it sounds like was it Sullivan would like to bring charges.
Daniels.
No, who's the lady he's speaking with?
Her name is Sally Clark.
Sally Clark.
She's the vice president for campus community safety at UW.
I'm sure she doesn't want these students to be no one held accountable, no charges being brought.
Well, it's funny you ask that because listen to this clip about who's accountable.
I can confirm that many of them have the opportunity to be back.
And who's been held accountable for the damage, the $1 million worth of damage that the UW reported?
That will be an ongoing issue and isn't addressed in the student conduct process.
Is not addressed in the student conduct process. So it sounds to me, if I had to guess, is that UW is saying, we're not going to charge anyone, we're not going to forward charges to anyone. We're going to pretend like we don't know where those charges went. And because it's been so long now, why don't we just stop talking about it?
I hope that's not their plan.
Of course that's their plan. She's the vice president for community safety, campus community safety, $1 million of damage. It's not part of the student process. Does that make any sense?
Well, if students are at this protest, they violate behavior policies, whatever it is, student conduct, but they don't do any damage. Right? I mean, at that point.
Well, then what did you arrest them for?
Well, you could. They were arrested because they were on the scene and damage was done. They arrested everybody there.
They didn't arrest everybody. There's protests that weren't arrested.
All the people who were arrested there, and there was damage done there. They have evidence that they're the ones that broke the window? They're the ones.
There's video of people doing stuff.
Well, those people should be charged. Clearly.
But she's saying that's not part of the student process. I just don't.
Not every student that was suspended from this protest, I think, is probably even warrants criminal charges.
Probably not everyone.
I think maybe that's who's been invited back to class.
But a few? No, they're all back.
Okay, well then we need to know more from the UW Police Department. I'm with you. There's a lot.
$1 million worth of damage?
I know less now than when we started this story.
That's what our show's all about. Spike, we've done our job.
Let's go.
We've done our job. All right. We got more, believe it or not. Not from this, but from other stuff.
If they don't have any more, how could we?
We don't have any more from that because they're not giving us any more. So I guess we'll look in a different direction for a moment.
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back.
Does my voice sound pretty good?
Better than I thought it would.
The John Curley Show.
I was really trying to work with my diaphragm.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I was screaming as everybody else was screaming, and all of a sudden the muscles in my neck tightened up and it shut off blood in my head. I thought I almost passed out. I was so close.
What if you died?
Well, I would have been paid no attention to me. Like, get up, Dad.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Brandy Cruz. Hey, Brandy, why? Why First Mark Insurance?
Service. I wondered for a second whether I was getting the VIP treatment, and I kind of asked, hey, is this what you do for everyone? And they're like, of course. The whole First Mark Challenge is meant to be personal, right? So it really is tailored and meant to be a personal experience for every single person. I will say I've just done whatever is the quickest and cheapest type of insurance, and I realized while I was doing it, wow, this is what it feels like to get insurance as a real adult. We had 1 million questions, and they walked us through every step of the process, and then they're working for you. So they're not working for insurance companies, they're working for you. To experience that level of service really shows you what the difference is with First Mark.
Brandy did it. My family did it. You got to do it. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Hi, Flo here to say that Progressive knows that life can change quickly, so it's good to have flexible coverage.
Oh, like when I have to take my ex off my policy.
Oh, sorry. But yes, we can do that.
And can you send them a message and tell them that they have trust issues that they need to work on?
We don't really get in the middle of these conflicts.
Also, can you let them know that I was faking interest in his band and it's probably time to grow up?
I'm not going to do it. Just know that with Progressive, you can easily make changes to your auto insurance because we know life changes.
Also, I'm staying in touch with his mom because she's absolutely lovely.
Bad idea.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This winter, drive with confidence in a Subaru from Subaru of Puyallup. From rainy commutes to icy roads, Subaru's legendary all-wheel drive and advanced safety are built for our winters. Subaru of Puyallup is known for something even better, a stress-free car buying experience. No pressure, no games. Just friendly Subaru experts helping you find the right vehicle at the right price. Start shopping now and see our stress-free pricing exclusively at SubaruofPuyallup.com. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership, part of the Harnish Auto family.
Guys, if your energy is low, your strength isn't what it used to be, or your drive feels off, it's not just getting older. For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, you can start with a free T-check, exam, and consultation so you get real answers about your testosterone levels and overall health. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. This isn't guesswork or one-size-fits-all treatment. Revive specializes in personalized, closely monitored testosterone care designed to help men feel stronger, sharper, and more like themselves again. With over 120,000 patients treated since 2011, Revive Men's Health is trusted for results, not hype. If you've been putting this off, now is the time to act. Claim your free T-check and consultation and see if you qualify for 25% off TRT. This month only. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
Do you like helping others? Become a Shiva volunteer. In Pierce County, join the hundreds of volunteers across Washington state who help over 90,000 people each year with their Medicare options and questions. You don't have to know Medicare. We'll teach you. And if you're bilingual, even better. For more information and how to apply, call Shiva at 1-800-562-6900 or go to insurance.wa.gov.
Sponsored by the Office of the Insurance Commissioner and aired by the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
The first few steps that I took in the morning were pretty painful.
This is Carlos.
I mean, I had been told by multiple orthopedic surgeons that there was no alternative for me.
That wasn't what he wanted to hear. You see, Carlos is an active guy.
I played basketball, and for 3 to 4 days after, my knees would just be so swollen. And now I can play basketball, and there is no swelling. There is no pain in the knees.
No swelling, no pain, because Carlos went to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'm just happy to be able to be out there. And then knowing that tomorrow I am not going to suffer for this.
What do you say to your friends and family who are in pain?
I say, you know, I had horrible knee pain and stem cells really worked for me. You might want to go to Dr. Wagner, just get a consultation before you have surgery.
Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
See country star Aaron Lewis and the Stateliners at Muckleshoot Casino Resort March 24th at 8 p.m. And now an added show on March 25th. Get your tickets now to see Aaron Lewis at muckleshootcasino.com.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
right, welcome back to the show.
Sounds like we're watching an Eddie Murphy movie, doesn't it? Very 80s.
Is this for 48 Hours? Have you seen 48 Hours?
Oh, I love. Are you kidding me?
What's your favorite Eddie Murphy movie? This is not what we're planning on talking about, but what's your favorite Eddie Murphy movie?
Great question. Maybe Trading Places.
Trading Places is
phenomenal. Billy Valentine was one of the greatest characters of all time.
So good.
But so is Axel Foley.
Yeah.
I mean, all the 48-hour movies are great. Or that was Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills Cop, yeah.
Yeah. He was Reggie Hammond.
That
48
music
hours.
in Beverly Hills Cop, too.
It's this.
So good.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think this is it.
Jan Hammer made all these songs.
So great. Oh. I love Coming to America.
Oh, my God.
Also, I mean, just that guy's he was like 22 during all those movies. He was like in his early 20s. Wild. Crazy. All right, but now what we're planning on talking about here. This is just good advice. I saw this kind of floating around the internet, and I thought this was cool. This is a U.S. Navy admiral. His name is William H. McRaven. I believe he delivered the speech. I think it's called the Make Your Bed speech, but I think he gave a commencement address at I think it was University of Austin when he was giving this a few years back.
Look at the hardware on this gentleman.
Yeah, I know. He's like,
wow,
probably leaning to one side with all that metal.
Gosh.
But he gives this advice that he got when he was, I think he was a Navy SEAL when he was in training, and it was about making your bed, just the importance of accomplishing a simple task. And it's kind of fun because he highlights exactly why these little tiny things, like just little things, in the grand scheme of things, actually do make a really big difference. And just like your perspective on life. I just want to play a little bit of this here. It's only a minute that we pulled from, but it's just great advice. Check this out.
If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. Every morning in SEAL training, my instructors, who at the time were all Vietnam veterans, would show up in my barracks room, and the first thing they'd do was inspect my bed. It was a simple task, mundane at best, but every morning we were required to make our bed to perfection. It seemed a little ridiculous at the time, particularly in light of the fact that we were aspiring to be real warriors, tough, battle-hardened SEALs. But the wisdom of this simple act has been proven to me many times over. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another. And another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. So if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed.
Isn't that great advice? That's so smart.
Brilliant. That is so brilliant.
You watch a guy like him, too. Like you said, he's just like decorated in all these accolades and medals.
There's so much
success.
clusters and what do they call them? The shoulder. There's epaulets or
epaulets.
Yes, maybe. Anyway, this guy couldn't wear more hardware. This couldn't be more decorated and more recognized than this admiral.
Yeah.
And it's the little things. He's spot on, man.
It's amazing.
Spot on.
Do you have any advice like that you were given at any time in your life? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but anything. Ooh. Like I'm reminded, I'll tell you this real fast, like while you're thinking. Do you remember John Wooden?
Of course. Legendary basketball coach, UCLA, winningest coach of all time, I think.
Yeah.
Until Coach K passed him.
And his whole thing was the tiny little things, because you can't control everything in life, but you can control tiny little things. And like one of his things was when you put your socks on, he has this whole speech about how to wear socks. And you think to yourself, like, well, what does wearing socks matter? I mean, you're going out, you're scoring as much as you can.
Anybody can do that.
But he talks about these little things like when you put the sock on, comb it down as you can, work it around your toes, all these things so you don't have any creases in your sock when you're putting it in your shoe so that while you're playing, there's nothing distracting you from what you're doing on the court.
Right.
And that's the little thing that you can control. Yeah. So the big things that you can't control, like who's guarding you or if your shot, rebounds weird and doesn't go the way you want it to.
That's a great question. But what I loved about the admiral's speech was even if you have a bad day, you come home, there's a perfectly made bed.
You've accomplished something.
No matter what happened today, you at least accomplished that and you've got a great start to tomorrow.
That's great advice.
That's fantastic. The best advice I ever got, I don't know if anybody gave me those kind of little directives, but my old man told me this when I was very young. And it bears true to this day. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen twice as often as you speak, and you will not only sound less stupid, you'll learn a lot more.
It's great advice.
Right?
Yeah.
And it seems so simple, but if you want to change the world, make your bed.
Make your bed.
I didn't do that early in life. Nobody did. But you learn it over a year, and he's right. when I make my bed. When I get up in the morning, I'll make my bed.
You've done something to make your life better.
Yep.
It's a simple task.
And when I get home at the end when I get home at the end of a short day, sitting on my rear end making fun of people, that's how I contribute to the world. I got a nice made bed.
Got a nice made bed to set upon. All right, we got a lot more coming up. We're going to talk about that CHOP victim whose family was just awarded tens of millions of dollars. It's a amazing outcome on this story. We'll talk about that and so much more. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Holy smokes! For 40 years, he's been part of the soundtrack of summer across the Pacific Northwest.
The Griffeys with back-to-back home runs!
KIRO News Radio congratulates Rick Rids.
Everybody scores!
Season 41 may be his last, but it promises to be one to remember.
The modern-day Bambino, Cal Raleigh.
We can't wait. From KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
DayandNight.net.
Day and Night gives you a free furnace or water heater with installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace or water heater from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
It's cold outside, and if you're noticing it's taking forever to heat your home, there are cold spots in certain rooms, your furnace turns off and on a lot, or it never stops, or maybe your energy bill is just way too high. These are all warning signs that your home needs a blanket. There may be something wrong with your insulation, which means not only are you uncomfortable in your own home, but you could be wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars a year in lost energy. Call Insulation Northwest today, and we'll send one of our professionals to give you a fast, free energy inspection to determine if there is a problem. And if there is a problem, we can fix it fast. Most jobs are completed in one day. You have nothing to lose. The inspection is free and only takes about an hour and could save you thousands. Keep the heat in, the cold out, and your energy bill low. Call Insulation Northwest today. Insulation Northwest, the real insulation company.
Please ask if you qualify for thousands of dollars of free rebates from your energy company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Did you know that 25% of your home's heat loss is through your attic? Hot air rises, and if your attic isn't properly insulated, the hot air is going to rise right through your ceiling, into your attic, and out your roof that's far past its half-life. That sounds cold and expensive. Hey, this is Jake Skorheim. If this sounds like your house, it's time to call Valentine. And right now, Valentine has a great winter special. Bundle attic insulation with any new roof, and you'll save an additional 10% off your entire project. Plus, with Valentine's financing options, they make it easy. No matter what your home needs, insulation, gutters, siding, or a new roof, you are guaranteed the Valentine experience. Seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and extra mile service, even in winter weather. My home is protected by Valentine. They keep me off the roof, which my wife and kids are extremely grateful for. I trust them to help you too. To lock in your winter bundle savings, call 206 Roofing today. Again, that's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine vans, you know your home is in good hands. 206 Roofing.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
9 days until Super Bowl 60. The only station where you hear Steve Label call the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Federal prosecutors are told they cannot seek the death penalty against Luigi Mangione in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Odyssey New York's Mary Lynn Buckley.
Luigi Mangione's attorney Karen Friedman Agnifilo speaking out after a federal judge ruled the death penalty is now off the table.
Just wanted to thank the court for this incredible decision. I want to thank this amazing legal team that we have here. It's really wonderful. Thank all the people who come out, stand here in the cold.
This is officially a non-capital trial with jury selection expected to begin September 8th.
We're all very relieved, but we anticipate fighting these charges.
Mary Lynn Buckley for CBS News, New York.
The Justice Department releases over 3 million pages linked to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche.
I can assure that we complied with the statute, we complied with the act, that we did not protect President Trump, we didn't protect or not protect anybody.
The files by law were supposed to be completely released last month. Meantime, Blanche says of the probe into the killing of Alex Preddy in Minneapolis last weekend.
The Department of Justice Civil Rights Division has the best experts in the world at this. They've been doing it for decades, and so I expect that investigation will proceed.
Actor Catherine O'Hara has died after a brief illness. Her rep says she died today at her home at age 71. O'Hara appeared in Home Alone, Beetlejuice, and the TV show Schitt's Creek. She most recently appeared in Apple TV's The Studio.
The job makes you stressed and panicked and miserable. But when it all comes...
President Trump is maintaining pressure on Iran amid satellite imagery suggesting that it may be trying to restart its nuclear and missile programs.
The president has sent a U.S. naval carrier group to the waters off Iran.
They have to float someplace. They might as well float near Iran.
Trump also told reporters he believes Iran is taking notice.
I can say this, they do want to make a deal.
The president's remarks come amid protests in Tehran against the Iranian regime and the economy. Thousands of protesters have been killed, although Trump says Iran has pledged not to execute hundreds through hanging. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
After finding debris and a body, the U.S. Coast Guard in Massachusetts says it has launched a search for the fishing vessel Lily Jean about 25 miles off Cape Ann. President Trump says his nominee to replace Jerome Powell as Fed chair in May is former Federal Reserve Governor Kevin Warsh. Bankrate Sarah Foster.
The decision to keep interest rates steady, it was broadly supported. So the Fed looks like it's prepared to move to the sidelines for the foreseeable future, and one official change might not really alter that course.
Stocks closed down on Wall Street. This is CBS News.
Real crimes, real justice. Follow and listen to 48 Hours on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Some good news for EV drivers. Details next after your KIRO News Radio traffic brought to you by Subaru of Puyallup. We're looking good across most of the map. Here in Seattle's a different story. South 5 slows from Northgate into downtown. Plan on 20 minutes between Linwood and Seattle. That's not bad. It's North 5 that we have two thick backups. One approaching the West Seattle Bridge up past I-90, and then again between Mercer and the Ship Canal Bridge. All added up, it's taking you 20 to 25 minutes to make it through downtown Seattle. South 405, drivers are dealing with scattered backups between Factoria and the Renton Landing. It's less than 20 minutes between Bellevue and Renton. North 405, you're going to slow through the Renton S-curves. And we've got some brief backups approaching the Hood Canal Bridge from both directions right now due to a recent closure for marine traffic. Confident winter driving starts at Subaru of Puyallup. Find stress-free pricing at SubaruofPuyallup.com and enjoy a stress-free buying experience at Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
And good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. If you drive an electric vehicle, you should have an easier time charging across Washington soon. The state just announced $12 million for new electric vehicle stations. Officials say the money helps finish the highway charging network. The plan adds 14 locations with 96 ports on I-90 and other key highways. 5 companies won the grants and will handle installation and upkeep. The Seattle Times reports the state expects the work to wrap up within 2 years. The flu virus has claimed the life of a teenager in Snohomish County. Flu levels remain high statewide. Virologist Dr. Angela Rasmussen tells the G and Ursula show a vaccination can still mean the difference between a mild illness and a hospital stay.
If you want your flu, if you have to get it, to be mild, inconvenient, like you stay home for a couple of days and eat chicken soup and take Dayquil, then get a flu shot. If you want to be in the hospital on a ventilator, then don't.
Health officials say there have been 59 deaths across the state this season. Nordstrom is marking 125 years in business this year. It also marks 1 year since the Nordstrom family bought the company back. That $6.25 billion deal ended more than 50 years on the stock market. The Puget Sound Business Journal just named Nordstrom its family business of the year. Brothers Eric and Peter now lead a company with 55,000 employees. About 6,800 of them work right here in Washington. Nordstrom also remains a major local donor, giving more than $8 million in 2024. Well, starting Sunday, the TSA will charge air travelers who don't have a real ID, driver's license, or passport $45 to board a plane. Here's CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
If you are among the 94% of people who show up at checkpoints every day with compliant identification, TSA says nothing should really change. But there's 150 to 180,000 people every day who show up without a real ID. They are going to have to pay this fee. You probably want to do it before you get to the airport. And if you don't, you may not make your flight.
Well, there's a debate in Olympia this session over student cell phone use in schools. KIRO's Frank Lenzi reports.
Democratic State Senator Marco Lias is behind a bill that would prohibit cell phone use during class time.
Student device use and student device access is harming their learning and harming the development of our young people.
But high school senior Julie Che is concerned about safety.
With the current prevalence of school shootings in public schools, it scares me to think about the possibility of being unable to contact anyone.
The bill, which is in committee, had a public hearing Thursday, but no action was taken. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
And now your KIRO News Radio weather. The rain will taper off this afternoon. We should see some sun later on, a high around 52. Saturday starts off with morning showers, turning mostly sunny and a high near 60. 50 degrees and light showers in downtown Seattle right now. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. It's Friday, which means you can text us on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line at 888-973-5476. At the end of the show, we read all those, not all of them. It would be impossible for time. But we read a bunch of them, a bunch of your texts, and it's your responses to stories that Spike and I argue with each other about or laugh with each other about. And you guys can get your thoughts in on those as well. So make sure you get those in early and often. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476. All right, here's a big local story. I saw this everywhere as I was getting ready for the show today. This is obviously one that we've been following for a while. Back in 2020, during that whole Chaz Chop debacle, there was a killing of a young man. I believe he was 16 years old, Antonio Mays Jr. Yeah. He was up here from California. The story that I read about him is he saw it happening on the news. He felt moved to want to come and explore what was happening on his own. So he and a friend come up here. They're driving around in Chaz Chop. Chaz Chop at that point, which had been, thanks to the mayor of Seattle and local authorities, had just basically abandoned the local police precinct there. Do you remember that?
Sure. They felt it was an effort to de-escalate. They would surrender that area to what they hoped to be a peaceful protest.
Which obviously we now know was a massive mistake.
Yeah, the police abandoned was at the eastern precinct of the Seattle Police Department. Is that
this is right up there in Capitol Hill? Yeah, I think so.
And CHOP had become this autonomous, govern yourself kind of utopian
I wouldn't use the word utopia.
That was their intent.
Yeah.
That was their
I
intent.
was going to say, it's more like a hellscape.
The way it turned out, absolutely true. But they had set up security there. That's what got us to the moment we're at now.
Yeah.
That horrific moment in 2020.
So what happened was this kid is driving around in a car. It's kind of disputed. That's why this lawsuit was happening. But there was disputed what led to his death. But there was apparently a car chase that happened. There was gunfire that came from a car into the car that he was in. It's unclear whether or not he was driving or whether he was the passenger. It kind of makes it look like, from what I read, it looks like based on the injuries that he suffered, he was likely the passenger, but that's still disputed.
And the fact that so many people interfere with the crime scene, who was sitting where and who did what it may never be. This was a trial about the city's
response and the city's liability.
Yes.
Did their actions, did their negligence lead this to happen?
Yeah.
And a jury has just come back and said, yes, the city is negligent and liable for his death. And they awarded the family roughly $30 million, which is a massive award against the city. Here is, this was yesterday in court as they were reading this. And I think, Laura, is this the clip? The audio is not super great. But it's just
it's a little fuzzy.
Okay, little fuzzy.
I boosted it. We'll give it a go.
Yeah, I think this is the foreman reading the verdict. Listen to this.
For Antonio May Sr., economic damages, $567,712.0. Non-economic damages, $962,652.
You hear him there. He misstates it at first. He says 25 million, but then he corrects it and says actually, I would say 25,000. He's 25 million.
Big number. Who could believe it?
Do you remember we covered this a little bit during the trial, but do you remember the city attorney defending the city against this case? Do you remember this case?
Yeah, vaguely, not with specifics.
And there was all these complaints that were made. The city attorney who was defending the city was saying that she was being treated unfairly. I mean, there was all these
the sexual because of my gender.
There was sexist treatment of her.
Yes,
all these kind of distractions against the lawyers of Antonio Mays Jr.'s family, and you're just sitting there going, like, these seem like desperate moves for a city that realizes it's in bad danger.
Indefensible actions.
Indefensible.
And that's what the jury deemed, that the city's designation of this area as a lawless center, the fact that they wouldn't allow medical help into CHOP. They put up barricades around CHOP that prohibited medical attention from getting to this young man.
Yeah.
And medical experts deemed that's why.
And EMTs who were just outside said, well, we're not going in because we're going to put our lives at danger if we go in.
Yeah.
And this poor kid, as a result of the city's horrible mismanagement, and really, can you imagine? Imagine if you were, this was Jenny Durkin, right? Mayor Jenny Durkin at the time?
Yes, it was.
Summer
and
Love.
Chief Best, right? Carmen Best?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were elected to do a job to keep a city safe, and your response to protesters was, this is a really valid topic these days because there's protests everywhere all the time now. Your response to that was, let's give up the police station.
Let's surrender. Yeah.
Let's just walk away. We're going to leave the streets completely lawless, which is what happened. People end up dying. Children. He's a child. He's a child, 16 years old.
Yeah.
So sad for this family. And obviously this amount is never going to bring their son back. I bet you anything. Obviously, it doesn't even need to be bet. It's just obvious. They would rather have their son back.
Sure, yeah.
But these are the painful numbers that the city needs so that it doesn't do stupid stuff like this again in the future.
Exactly. It's punitive against the city. It's not compensation for loss. You can't put a number.
You can't compensate for loss of a child.
But it's it's teaching the city you can't allow anything like this to happen again in the future.
Yeah. This is so horrible. I mean, there has to be consequences when people do things the wrong way and you break the laws. The city is bound. We have laws. We're supposed to follow those things. Their job as elected officials is to make sure that they uphold the laws of the city, of the state, and to make sure that people are safe to go back and forth. It's just like the people we talked about last hour at UW.
Yeah.
I really do feel like they have a responsibility. If you're going to allow people onto your campus to take over an engineering building, then to do $1 million worth of damage to that engineering building. I know that they didn't invite them there, but de facto, that's kind of what they're doing. If you're not going to charge them anything and you're not going to hold them responsible punitively, no damage, anything, is that part of the process? Aren't you kind of signaling to them, hey, we don't really take this type of thing very seriously. And if it happens again in the future, oh well.
Yeah, they've done nothing to deter it happening again in the future. And I'll go even further. It's not just taking the building; it's putting up the encampment in the courtyard
100%.
there, where students, the Jewish student union the group, felt unsafe.
Said we can't walk around because of all the anti-Semitism.
And you're supposed to be tolerant of protests, and I understand, tolerant of protests, but there's a limit. Well, you said there's protests everywhere in this country. It's a topic of conversation coast to coast these days.
You can't infringe on other people's rights. You can protest all you want, but you can't take away somebody else's rights because you think your rights are more important.
That's right.
Anyway, his father spoke. This is Antonio May Sr. He spoke shortly after the verdict, or the judgment, I should say.
I don't know what to say in a situation like this. I don't wish anybody to ever have to fight for their kids the way that I had to fight for mine. I'm not from Seattle. I didn't become familiar with the culture up here until I got here on December 7th, and I've been here ever since. And it's just a blessing that I've been able to stay here, on my own accord to see this through. I don't know how some people would be able to even muster that, to go out of state, for roughly 2 months to fight for their kids, if they had to, It's like a fight for your life. I love my kids more than I love myself. I live for my kids. So, it's a, verdict came back, that saw things, correctly to administer some justice where my son's name was unfortunately being dragged through the mud for 5 years. Thank God that that's been cleared up. And, but I can't say that it feels good. I can't say that it feels complete because it doesn't. I'm thankful for the verdict. I'm thankful for the success. But it doesn't feel like a resolve. So I appreciate everybody's time and compassion and the people that were sincere and there with me along the way.
This is what he wants people to remember about his son.
Big-hearted, kind-hearted, and hard-working, that's the kind of, memory that should resonate when they think about my son. Somebody that when you see him coming, he cares about you.
Sad story. It's horrible that it had to get to the point where the city had this, huge judgment against them, but they need to learn their lesson. They can't do stuff like that. We got to follow the rules.
Yeah, and this wasn't a trial about whether or not he should or shouldn't have been there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was about how the city allowed this environment to occur, and the response after a tragic shooting. That was the onus of this particular trial. But you mentioned that there's protests everywhere today. And there's protests. There's a story about Don Lemon being locked up.
Yeah, we have that right now.
For protests where a protest group went into a church because the pastor of that church is an official with ICE. That was confirmed. He's his weekday job.
One of the pastors.
Yeah, one of the pastors I think it was one who was speaking there when they went in to have their protest.
Yeah, I don't know which one.
Well, the point being, legal, peaceful protest is a constitutional right. Violent trespassing protests, they're against the law. There are laws in place to stop violence from happening. But violence from protesters is unacceptable. There are violent protesters arrested in Minneapolis. There's thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of protesters who are peacefully protesting. Their constitutional rights to do so. People who just smash stuff and assault people in the name of protest, they're criminals.
What do you think about this Don Lemon thing? That's a good transition over to this Don Lemon. He was arrested, I believe, last night, 11 p.m. last night. Conspiracy to deprive rights, interfering with somebody's religious freedom in a house of worship. The Department of Justice, they went to a grand jury to get this indictment. They originally went to a local magistrate,
who wouldn't bring the charges.
Who didn't bring the charges. He said you got to get more evidence or go a different route. And so they went to a grand jury, and a grand jury, as I understand it, it's between 16 and 20 something people who look at the evidence that the Department of Justice has.
It's not a ruling of guilt or innocence. Is there enough evidence to bring charges?
Yes.
To bring an indictment?
Yes, probable cause to move forward with charges here. And they decided, I guess, through the grand jury, allegedly, at least that's what I've seen. A number of outlets says it was a grand jury that got them this.
I think that's how indictments are reached.
Arrest warrant, So he was arrested. lot of reaction to this. There's a lot of people are saying like this is infringing on his First Amendment rights to cover something as a journalist.
Well, that's the thing. He's wearing two hats here. He says he's not an activist when he brings a group and leads it. He didn't lead the group. The group was there. The group were activists violating the sanctuary, right, of a church.
Yeah, and he says he was there to document it.
He's saying he's a journalist, and he's living under that hat.
Yeah.
And maybe there's credence to that. There will be a trial about that.
Yeah, they'll figure that out in court.
It's not for us to decide. I also think journalism has a responsibility. We're not journalists. We're commentators, I would think, right? But outside that door in the newsroom, there are journalists out there. There are investigators and reporters out there, and they have an integrity and a responsibility to be straight and narrow and not bring their opinions into things and just bring you the facts. Don Lemon has an agenda to push, and he's a journalist. I'll give him that. He's a journalist. He's gathering information.
He was at CNN.
Yeah.
He got pushed out. Now he's at. He's an independent guy.
He's an independent journalist trying to find his place in the journalistic world.
Yeah.
He's leaning. There's a gray area between what he did and what he's saying that he's there as a journalist, but he's there because this guy works for ICE and he's also a priest. He's not there. He's not there protesting the guy's religious beliefs. He's protesting the guy's day job and how it interacts with the community he wants to, whether he represents or feels a part of. And
that's all his.
That's his. Yeah.
He's totally can have any opinion that he wants.
Yeah.
But the guy, if he works for ICE, he's not breaking any laws by working for ICE.
No,
There's many people work for ICE.
Not. That's right. That's where you cross that line. Yeah.
The problem that Don Lemon runs into is he goes into the church in the middle of a service. They say, we don't want you guys in here, and then they don't leave, which is, I think that's the area that they're now tripping into. Like if they had just gone in there.
Well, I think that might be too far too, just to go in and interrupt the service.
You could make an argument that might have been enough to get, but if they had, I'm wondering if they had just gone in there and stood up and did the thing that they did, which I think we have audio about it.
Well, they were crass. They were rude.
I'll play a little bit of it. I think
they were threatening.
It's worth playing.
Vocally threatening.
Like if they had started with just this, first off.
Today we had the honor to protest with...
Oh, not this guy. Actually, no, that guy's awful. All right, here's what I would say. If they just initially went in and then stood up and said, we're protesting, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
And then the church said, hey, you know what? This is a service. We'd like you guys to leave. If they turned right around at that point and then just walked out, I think you can make a good argument that they probably wouldn't be prosecuted for that. Or there's a chance they may not be prosecuted or found guilty even if they were.
Right.
Where they cross the line is when you have, the videos are pretty damning.
Yeah.
You have parents protecting their children who are crying. There was a lady who ran out fearful of her life. She ended up breaking her arm on the way out. You have Don Lemon who's getting video out there documenting.
Live streaming, wasn't he, or something? Yeah.
Live streaming it, documenting kids crying and saying like the point of all this is to make them uncomfortable. That's what protests are about. And it's like that's not what they're about. They're not about chasing people out of their houses of worship.
Yeah.
And so I'm not surprised that he got arrested. I guess I am still surprised though that people are having online such a strong reaction saying that he was fully within his rights to do what he was doing. Which like CNN put this big thing out that said that he has the First Amendment rights as a journalist. It's funny, CNN who like let him go for sexist comments, they said, but talking about women over a certain age. You remember that stuff?
Yeah.
It seems to me like he was pretty obviously, if he's been in the business for that long, he should know you're not allowed to go into private property. If they don't want you there, they can say you have to leave now. If you don't leave, now you've crossed that line.
Right. People are saying, it's a violation of his First Amendment rights, and they're going after journalism. There's occasions this administration's going after journalistic opinions they don't like.
Yeah.
But that's not what's happening here.
It doesn't seem like that's what's happening.
They didn't arrest him for what he said. They arrested him for where he was and how he got his information when he said what he said. It wasn't about the content he created, but the mechanism, it seems to me, the mechanism with which he gathered that information.
Yeah.
So, I get that this administration doesn't like viewpoints that disparage them or
who does?
Criticize. Who does? Right. And it's their right to do so. But it doesn't feel to me like, I'm no fan of this administration or their tactics or their priorities.
It doesn't feel extrajudicial that they're going outside of. Let me play you this quick clip. This is him confronting the pastor. And I want you to, and this is the pastor saying, hey, nobody here wants to talk. Actually, we're almost out of time here, so we won't have time to this. But do you think he's going to, what do you think the results of this is going to be? Do you think he'll serve any time for this? Or is this just kind of a show trial?
Hard to say. I don't know the evidence. It feels like it's a show. Don't do that. And that's the other argument that the defenders of Don Lemon and journalists in general is making, is they're trying to be intimidating. by arresting this reporter who's doing something that they don't agree with.
Yeah.
But there's validity to the fact that he's in there in trespassing and he's intruding and they're going above and beyond peaceful protest. It seems to me, and I'm kind of on their side in the argument, but not with these tactics.
But when
I'm
you
not
see what they're
defending these
doing, you're
tactics.
like, come on, guys.
I can understand that the grand jury could bring charges against these guys.
I saw this funny post today by, is it Babylon Bee? They said
that's a parody post, right?
Yeah, it was a parody post.
Yeah, these days can't be too sure.
It's a parody post.
You read Onion headlines, like, is that real? Is this real?
Well, they said the parody post was a picture of Lemon and said, if they can arrest him for doing something illegal, imagine what they can do to us. But we will see if it's illegal or not. The courts will decide that. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Let's talk about Catherine O'Hara.
Yes.
Her career.
Yes.
What a genius this lady was. Beloved by everyone.
Gift, man.
We're going to play some audio clips of her and just kind of celebrate her entire life, which we will try to get into the next segment or two. So stick around. We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
Doubted.
More questions about Sam Darnold.
Underestimated.
I would say 10-7.
Questioned at every turn.
The question mark on this team is the offensive line.
We did not care. It's about us. It's always been about us and what we do. And now we're going to the Super Bowl.
The only place you'll hear Steve Rabel call the Seahawks and Patriots in Super Bowl 60, where the 12s hear the Hawks. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
The Boat Show, the Boat Show,
the Big Seattle Boat Show.
The Big Seattle Boat Show is happening now through February 7th. It's the best time to buy, with big selection, big discounts, and big fun for everyone. It's a big deal. Presented by Sundance Yachts and Port of Seattle. Make it a date Friday evenings with Boat Show After Dark, featuring unforgettable ambiance, music, food, beer, and wine. Details and discount tickets at seattleboatshow.com.
Cold is weekend and rocks are moving and moon is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Ugh. Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances and choose from our wide lineup of top brands. Plus, save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder. Now just $189. Built for strength, flexibility, and job site versatility. Pros, these savings will only be here for a limited time. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/30. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Guys, if your energy is low, your strength isn't what it used to be, or your drive feels off, it's not just getting older. For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, you can start with a free T-check, exam, and consultation, so you get real answers about your testosterone levels and overall health. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. This isn't guesswork or one-size-fits-all treatment. Revive specializes in personalized, closely monitored testosterone care designed to help men feel stronger, sharper, and more like themselves again. With over 120,000 patients treated since 2011, Revive Men's Health is trusted for results, not hype. If you've been putting this off, now is the time to act. Claim your free T-check and consultation and see if you qualify for 25% off TRT. This month only. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from.
Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
For seniors, the new year is a good time to reassess finances. If you're struggling with bills, our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says a reverse mortgage may be a great way to ease your stress.
Seniors tell me all the time, we love our home, we'd love to stay here, but we just can't afford it anymore. A reverse mortgage lets you tap your home equity for tax-free cash to pay off your mortgage, pay off your debts, and maybe put some extra money in the bank. You've worked hard for that home equity. Now let your home work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. You'll get a no-pressure consultation directly from me. Never a sales pitch and never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage experts, the VA loan and debt consolidation experts too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. The president of Seattle's police union says officers are being used, in his words, as political pawns. Mike Solden says he is not going to support Mayor Katie Wilson's plan that requires the SPD to investigate reports of federal immigration activity. He tells the Jason Rantz Show on Seattle Red.
Do they actually think that local cops are going to tangle with the feds who are doing their lawful duties? To us is a line too far to cross, and we're not going to allow it.
Part of the mayor's plan requires police to document and verify reports of ICE activity with body-worn cameras. Mayor says this is meant to prepare Seattle for potential increases in immigration enforcement.
I understand the anxiety that a lot of folks, especially in our immigrant communities, are feeling right now, and at the city, we're going to do everything we can to keep people safe.
Her plan also bars federal agents from using city-owned property for civil immigration enforcement. Justice Department has dropped millions of pages of documents from the Epstein files. CBS's Wendy Gillette reports.
The newly released files show convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein pleaded the fifth to every question when asked about his relationship with former President Bill Clinton in a 2016 deposition. They included whether he was close friends with Clinton and if he flew on Epstein's personal jet. A New York socialite's email also mentions Clinton and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos visiting the home of Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell in 2009.
This latest release also includes emails from Epstein suggesting Bill Gates contracted STDs from Russian girls. In a statement, a Gates spokesperson tells us these claims are absolutely absurd and completely false. Goes on to say the only thing these documents demonstrates is the lengths Epstein would go to entrap and defame Gates. Now to the closing bell report. Stocks and precious metals under fire on Wall Street today. CBS's Jason Brooks has more.
Better than expected earnings from Apple and a host of other companies failed to impress investors. Gold and silver were crushed as Fed independence worries dialed back on the president's nomination of former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh to succeed Jerome Powell in May, with Warsh seen as a proponent of central bank independence.
Close today on Wall Street. Dow lost 179, S&P down 30, NASDAQ also off 223 points. Now to the real-time traffic desk. Here's Nate Connors.
Hey, thanks, Aaron. Simply Seattle has our quick update in Renton, South 405.
just past Northeast 44th, the disabled vehicles in the HOV lane. That's got you bumper to bumper starting at I-90, Bellevue to Renton. You're pushing a half hour. That's about a 10-minute delay. That's our only blocking issue. Heading into Seattle, South 5, you're going to slow a bit from Northgate into the downtown. Nothing too heavy, less than 20 minutes to commute between Linwood and Seattle. North 5, we've got two separate backups going on. The first is approaching the West Seattle Bridge just past I-90, and then again just past Mercer across the Ship Canal Bridge. All added up, it's about 20 minutes to make it through downtown. And in Canyon Park, I'm seeing northbound 405 getting crowded between 522 and 527. Outside of this, the rest of the map looking really good. Gear up for the big game at Simply Seattle. Shop official Seahawks playoffs gear and custom Simply original designs. Shop in-store or online and enter to win a $1,000 shopping spree now at simplyseattle.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast now looking at spotty showers for the rest of this afternoon. Morning rain tomorrow, then a mostly mild Saturday. Pockets of dry weekend weather are in store. Right now, 49 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're going to get to that Catherine O'Hara stuff in just a little bit. We're going to save that for just a little bit because we did just see Aaron just had in the news break there, and now I'm seeing the audio come down and some statements. This was a question I had earlier in the day as well. When I saw that Katie Wilson put out that announcement yesterday where she was basically saying that SPD is she's going to direct SPD to investigate, verify, and document ICE activity, which was one of her five things that she said she was going to direct SPD to do. I guess how many? 1, 2, 3, 3 things.
It's like Mel Brooks in
there's an investment thing that's not part of SPD. There's an establish of a Stand Together Seattle thing that's not SPD.
Right.
Anyway, I was wondering. I wonder what SPD's thinking about this. So I was wondering what SPOG, the Seattle Police Officers Guild, what their response is. We now have that. This is Mike Solon. He spoke with Jason Rantz about this, and here's what he had to say. He talked about local cops and how this is all going to work.
Do they actually think that local cops are going to tangle with the feds who are doing their lawful duties? To us is a line too far to cross, and we're not going to allow it.
He says,
is that what she's saying, though? Well, to tangle with police during the federal officers doing their lawful duties?
Here, you and I were kind of having a disagreement about this earlier. She says ICE agents are forbidden from staging operations in city-owned community centers, park facilities, parking lots, or any other city-owned property, which would include all city parks, things like that. If they're there to lawfully arrest people that they should be arresting, that does feel like she's kind of getting in their way, doesn't it? You're going to say, and here's the other thing. Here's another thing I'm thinking. What if you have, because I was wondering how much conversation she had with Seattle Police before she put the statement out.
I would hope some pretty intense conversations with Seattle Police.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, she's new to the job. I wouldn't be shocked.
No, I guess.
Yeah. Remember her first day on the job, she went to a Starbucks protest.
There's a painful learning curve going on.
SPD will investigate, verify, and document ICE activity. So she wants them going around with cameras and documenting every single thing that ICE is doing. And my question is, let's say ICE is doing a targeted stop.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the city is a sanctuary city, which means that they do not cooperate with federal ICE agents in coordinating to make sure that they can get somebody who should be lawfully arrested. Right?
That seems to be my understanding of it. Yeah.
It's mine too, unless that's wrong, and somebody from the city can let us know. So they're not going to be working with ICE, but SPD's job is so SPD is not going to be communicating with ICE, right?
Not helping. We're not going to use city resources for a federal effort, a federal program.
Yes.
With regard to ICE.
And they don't share information,
right?
Okay. So even though federally they would want to share information, I imagine, so that they could avoid having to go out into the streets and pick somebody up that they otherwise could just get.
Yeah, I wouldn't equate failure to share information with harboring criminals. I think that's an assumption being made. If you're saying you're not cooperating or coordinating with federal officials to do their job, I mean, it states.
Let's say somebody who's been arrested and convicted and served time and is now getting out of jail for something they've done illegally, and they are also here illegally. So now they're in violation of many things.
Sure. Yeah.
They're not going to call ICE and say, hey, by the way, this person gets out of local jail next week. If you just want to meet us here, we'll hand them over to you. They won't hand anybody over. Is that right?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know the depth to which
I do know
Seattle policy.
The answer is no. Yeah.
Okay.
They don't. So my question is, are SPD then going to just be running interference with ICE? Or are they just going to be following them around and then if there's an incident where you have protesters on the street who are getting in ICE's way and doing something dangerous, like let's say one of them spits on an ICE agent, like we see happen all the time in protests. That's assault, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it is. Do police make an arrest of that person and kind of help bring the situation down? Or do police just back up and just pull their phone out and record like a protester might?
That's a great question. I would hope they would, if someone's committing a crime, they would investigate or arrest this person. So let me ask you this. Seattle police being asked to observe and investigate. If they see peaceful protesters with a camera in their phone being pushed and assaulted by ICE agents for someone who is not interfering, not obstructing, just recording, is then Seattle Police Department required to arrest a federal agent? Interact with a federal agent?
That's what Spog is saying. Like, what are you asking us to do? Are you asking us to now be the front lines and fight with ICE? Because wouldn't it be better if they just said, hey, you know what? ICE is going to come in and do what they federally or lawfully allowed to do.
Okay.
Instead of getting in fights with protesters, why don't we provide like this would be my recommendation as if I were the mayor of a city, but I'm not. You have other cities who do cooperate with ICE to say, hey, if you guys are going to go arrest like this guy, I read you a bunch of these earlier, but pick any one of them. You're going to go arrest this guy. The protesters don't know that you're arresting a rapist.
No, I agree.
But we know you're arresting a rapist.
I agree.
Why don't we provide a perimeter so that we can inform protesters, say, hey, by the way, we've communicated with ICE.
That seems like a solid common sense approach. Yeah. That being said, though, when you see ICE shove a protester, shouldn't the police protect the citizens of Seattle during...
How would you recommend they do that?
I don't know. But if you're talking about recording, gathering evidence, investigating these things, and providing that evidence in case criminal charges are brought against...
So when you say protecting, just filming? Or do you mean they should actually get in there and like physically bring an ICE officer down onto the ground?
Well, that's a great question. If an ICE officer breaks the law, by assaulting a protester who is peacefully recording an incident.
Yeah.
Okay? And an ICE officer comes and pushes somebody to the ground. Here's the thing for me.
Is this an ICE officer?
Let me finish, please. If an ICE officer...
Okay.
It seems to me when you have an ICE officer approach someone with a camera in their hand, the person with the camera in hand isn't instigating anything.
Well,
the ICE officer is approaching them and shoving them. The person with the camera isn't intruding, obstructing.
Is there any commands from the federal agent to get back?
Do they have the right to tell people not to protest them? Because I've seen many videos of ICE crossing 20, 30, 40 feet to stop people from recording them. And shoving them in the ground.
And just assaulting them?
Yes. Spraying in the face, like point blank with bear spray in someone's face. The gentleman who was shot, Preddy, who was shot in Minneapolis, okay? ICE officers shoved that woman to the ground. He went to help that woman. They pursued him at that point. He wasn't approaching anybody, any officer wasn't doing anything like that.
Was he resisting arrest?
After they assaulted him and shoved him to the ground?
When they were bringing him down, was he being arrested at the time?
Hard to say, isn't it? It's hard to say when you are approaching a woman who just got shoved to the ground, and clearly in that tape, we've all seen that tape 1,000 different angles. He's not doing anything with ICE agents. He's reaching for that woman. They come at him, spray him in the face. He's got his hand up to block bear spray in his face. The other hand is still on that woman.
Yeah.
They then grab him and throw him to the ground. Is it fair to say he's resisting arrest? Or is he trying to defend himself from 6 guys on him in a matter of seconds after he's being pistol whipped with a can, which is clearly in one of the videos.
Pistol whipped with a can.
He's being can whipped with a can of bear spray into his head. The video is very clear about this.
Okay.
And he's like got his hands around, and there's arguing whether he reached for this or didn't reach for this. Is he resisting arrest?
I'm not arguing that's
himself?
The perfect example.
But there are many examples like this. People who are following ICE. There's 2 women who are following ICE agents in Minneapolis, which they're right to do. The agents told them to stop following. Okay, which they have no right to do, to stop following us.
If you're impeding
but following them's not impeding them. Okay, that's a different thing.
Blocking them in traffic, would that be impeding?
Sure, I would think so. That's fair to say.
Okay, so that's what those women were doing.
Not these particular women. These 2 women, I'll find you the case example exactly. They're following the agents. Agents told them to stop following them.
They weren't blocking the road in any way.
They weren't blocking the road. They were just following ICE to alert people, honk their horns, blow their whistles, let people know that ICE is in the neighborhood. The officers then stop and break their windows and drag them from the car and arrest them.
Here's a question for you. You're doing your job as a federal agent. You're there like in the Preddy case.
Mhm.
They were there to pick up a guy who had a warrant out. He had an assault, all the things. He escaped as a result of that whole incident.
Sure.
Okay. Somebody gets up right behind you as you're trying to coordinate a lawful arrest, and they're blowing a whistle at high volume into your ear. Is that infringing on your ability to do your job?
I can see where that could be interpreted that way, sure.
That's exactly what was happening.
Not with Preddy.
Go back and watch
Yeah,
all
he's
the
20,
whistling.
he's 20 foot from them.
Go back and watch
he's
all the
20
whistling.
foot from them with a camera.
Have you seen the previous Preddy video?
Doesn't matter. What happened 2 weeks ago?
On the 13th.
No bearing whatsoever that happened the day. No bearing whatsoever happened the day he was shot. None at all.
I'm interested in that.
None at all. You ever drink?
Do I ever drink?
Yeah, do you ever drink?
Occasionally.
Yeah. If some cop pulled you over and said and arrested you for drunk driving, though you weren't drunk driving, does the fact that you were drinking 2 weeks ago have any bearing on that?
Well, no, not in that case.
Yeah, neither does it in the case of that guy who got shot, of Preddy getting shot. What he did 2 weeks ago had no bearing on how they interacted with him that day. None.
Do you want to talk more about this?
Sure, I'd love to.
Let's do it. I think it'd be interesting. We got more clips from Spog as well. This is good stuff. Stick around, Bear Back.
Does my voice sound pretty good?
Better than I thought it would. The John Curley Show.
I was really trying to work with my diaphragm.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I was screaming as everybody else was screaming, and all of a sudden the muscles in my neck tightened up and it shut off blood in my head. I thought I almost passed out. I was so close.
What if you died?
Well, I would have been paying no attention to me like, get up, Dad.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
At Skyline Seattle, senior living never sounded so good. We celebrate the arts and are building enviable cultural partnerships like the Ballardet Quartet from the Seattle Chamber Music Society and the Seattle Art Museum. We provide our residents all the energy Seattle offers. Make your home at Seattle's only true life care community. Culture has an address, Skyline. Discover it all at skylineseattle.org.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
DUI? Felony charge? Trust Bradley Johnson Lawyers and 1-800-DUI-OA. Over 30 years serving the Pacific Northwest and hundreds of 5-star reviews. Every mistake has a solution at 1-800-DUI-OA.
1-800-DUI-OA.
Thank you, Dr. Wagner. I have a really bad left hip. In fact, this other doctor's like, well, you're going to have to get a hip replacement. I was like, oh my God. He goes, how old are you? I told him, well, you're going to have to wait a couple of years because we don't want you to wear the hip out. We want you and the hip to both go to heaven together. I was like, well, in the meantime, well, try stretching, aspirin. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm in pain. I can't sleep. I could barely walk. I'd get off a plane and I'm like struggling to even make it down the ramp. I go to see Dr. Wagner. He explains to me how the stem cell procedure works. It's 90 minutes, and I'm telling you right now, I love it. So rather than surgery, make an appointment to see Dr. Wagner. It could be the game changer for you, like it's been for a whole bunch of other people as well. So whether it's your hip or your wrist or your shoulder, your knee, check out Dr. Mark Wagner. I'm telling you right now, stem cell procedure could be the answer for you, as it's been for me. You want to find out more? drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS, Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, a well-insulated attic can be your home's secret weapon. Upgrading attic insulation is a cost-effective way to make your home more energy efficient. It also helps keep your home warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Better insulation equals better air quality, less moisture, and no mold, improving the air quality you and your family breathe. Call now for $300 off attic ceiling and ventilation, and visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File today the easy way in the Credit Karma app.
Your VA loan and reverse mortgage experts for 34 years. Best Mortgage is proud to be the longest running mortgage company on KIRO Radio. Get a no-pressure consultation from a real person, never an AI bot. Web search Best Mortgage for honest advice you can trust.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
All right, welcome back. We're getting a bunch of text messages saying Spike and I are fighting. We're not. We're having
We're having
the same discussion that everybody's having right now.
Yeah, and we are listening to each other respectfully.
Yeah.
We're hearing other points of view.
There you go.
I wish the world was more like this show.
I wish the world, what was that old Buy a Coke song, you know?
I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony.
To listen to our show.
From noon to 3.
Let me bring it back around to the, oh, that's nice. I actually like that.
I could do this. I do this.
I want to bring it back to the Alex Perry thing you and I were just talking about a little bit ago.
Sure.
Here's what I'm saying about him. The incident in which he was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible circumstances. Sure. I obviously do not condone the shooting of him or killing of him.
Sure.
Obviously. The situation he found himself in, though, is an avoidable situation. Because 11 days prior, on January 13th, he was involved in an incident with, I believe it was Border Patrol. Could be ICE, but I think it was Border Patrol.
Okay.
Where he's out doing the thing, the whistling, all the stuff. He's with the group who are whistling. He's getting right in their faces.
Observers. They're training people. There are regular classes training people how to be ICE observers, how to document, how to blow their whistles.
Well, this would not be the way to do it.
No.
What he does.
Go on. I'm not saying that. I'm not
so
saying
he's yelling at these guys. He's screaming horrible expletives at these guys.
Yeah.
And don't forget, this is my whole thing about this is like the best thing to do is like wait and see before we all just jump to these conclusions that one side or the other is exactly right. This was Anna Navarro talking about, this is before this new video just came out. Was this just yesterday? This Alex video came out?
A couple days ago, I think.
A couple days ago. But this is Anna Navarro right after he was shot saying what a perfect guy he was. Listen to this.
They chose to, they killed the wrong guy, right? Because this is like the perfect guy. Alex Preddy is the guy you would want to date your daughter. The guy you would want your son to grow up to be. A decent human being who was serving humanity, serving sick veterans, who is, there is nothing that has been said about that man that isn't wonderful. And so they can't malign him. They can't malign him because we have the videos.
Now, it's impossible to gauge somebody's life based on 30 seconds of video, which is all I have seen of this guy. So I don't know. He might be the nicest guy in the world.
Well,
he seems to have a nice family.
Look what he did for a living. He's
an ICU nurse,
at
a VA nurse.
I think that's what she's speaking to here. Yeah.
But then this video comes out of him where he's screaming at these federal agents. He's spitting on them. He's kicking out their taillights. In one of the videos, it sounds like he says, assault me, assault me. And it adds context. All I'm saying is it adds context to they're trying to make a targeted arrest. And you have somebody like that in your vicinity getting up in your face. He spits in their face.
Not the day he was shot.
No, I know. I'm talking about the prior incident.
I get you that.
What I'm saying is, it seems to me like tensions are so high that you would think that somebody who just 11 days prior, who I believe he suffered a broken rib as a result of that.
I read that too, but who knows what you can believe anymore when you see him, when you hear him, when you read him.
You think that he would take extra caution. And I'm not saying it's his fault. All I'm saying is everything has been escalated so much, and these people are dealing with this all the time. Literally, this guy who ended up dying was horrible. Just days earlier, he's spitting in the face of one of these agents, and he's kicking out the taillights on there. I mean, that's not something that you would ever do.
No,
that's not something I would ever do.
Absolutely not. And I'm not justifying anything he did, but the day 11 days earlier when he was in an altercation with ICE, did they instigate this altercation? The day he spat on him, kicked at the taillight.
You asked me earlier if I ever drink, and then you said, well, if you had drank, does that mean 11 days later you could get a DUI? And I said, no, obviously, that's not the same thing. All I'm saying is it does speak to, we have 15 seconds of video of this, right? This incident that happens from two different angles. We have some video footage.
The day he was killed.
Of the day he was killed.
Yeah.
We don't know what it was like leading up to that moment. And if this at all gives a little context into what these guys are going through, they're not perfect.
I don't care.
These agents are not perfect.
I don't want them to be perfect, but I don't care what they're going through. What I care about is the guy who's standing there with a camera, who's then approached by agents. Talk about what happened the day he was killed, who he was, and how he interacted with ICE 11 days earlier. Maybe he was a hothead.
What if it was 1 minute earlier he was interacting with ICE? No, but you don't have video of that, is what I'm saying. What was he doing there? He wasn't just walking by.
He was standing there filming.
If 11 days earlier he's spitting on one of them and yelling F you and assault me, what do you think he's doing right outside the video? We just don't know. There's a whole investigation that has to take place.
I hope there will be, yeah.
Obviously.
Well, we don't know. I don't know.
Of course there will be. It's in Minnesota. They're going to investigate.
We hadn't even talked about whether or not DHS where they blocked the investigative scene, how they wouldn't share evidence with local law enforcement.
They'll investigate. We got to go, but they'll investigate. All right, we got to go.
And we're not fighting.
We'll be right back.
We're friends.
Doubted.
More questions about Sam Darnold.
Underestimated.
I would say 10 and 7.
Questioned at every turn.
The question mark on this team is the offensive line.
We did not care. It's about us. It's always been about us and what we do. And now we're going to the Super Bowl.
The only place you'll hear Steve Rabel call the Seahawks and Patriots in Super Bowl 60, where the 12s hear the Hawks. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice. DayandNight.net. Day and Night gives you a free furnace or water heater with installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace or water heater from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net.
I'm Chris Davis, former King County prosecutor and founder of the Davis Law Group in Seattle. If you've been injured in a crash caused by impaired or drunk drivers, there are special considerations that need to be taken to protect your legal rights. Davis Law Group's team of investigators and lawyers know how to properly investigate DUI crashes and identify all parties who might be legally responsible for your injuries and damages. Call Davis Law Group at 206-888-8888 or get my free book at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
You know, this is one of those topics that no one really wants to think about, but if you're a parent, a homeowner, married, or helping take care of aging parents, it's something that honestly deserves a little attention. I'm talking about estate planning. And before you tune out thinking it's complicated or expensive, that's actually why I want to mention Trust and Will. Trust and Will makes estate planning feel way less intimidating than it sounds. They offer modern, attorney-designed wills and trusts that you can create online. And the process is surprisingly straightforward. In fact, you can create a will in as little as 30 minutes. That includes things like guardianship for your kids or pets, how your assets are distributed, and even healthcare directives. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your loved ones with Trust and Will, the most trusted name in online estate planning. Go to trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. That's trustandwill.com/plan for 20% off. trustandwill.com/PLAN.
Guys, low energy, low drive, or strength not what it used to be? For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, start with a free T-check exam and consultation to get real answers. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. Call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply. Must medically qualify.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. A huge rally is taking place right now in downtown Minneapolis in protest of the immigration crackdown being carried out by the Trump administration. A march around Minneapolis County buildings is expected to follow the rally. The turnout is in response to a call for a nationwide day of action following the killings of 2 people in Minneapolis by federal agents. CBS's Ian Lee.
Bruce Springsteen made a surprise appearance at a benefit concert in Minneapolis, singing his new protest song, Streets of Minneapolis.
2 dead left to die on snow-filled streets, Alex Pretty and Renee Good.
Proceeds are going to the families of Alex Pretty and Renee Good.
Other rallies are taking place across the country, including in San Antonio, Texas.
This is state terror, really, and it shouldn't be part of our politics. Shouldn't be part of our immigration response.
The Senate begins voting on a funding package with a partial government shutdown deadline hours away. CBS's Nicole Killian.
This is basically a deal to split off government funding. There are 6 bills bundled into a package that fund a variety of government agencies, defense, state, labor, education, and other departments, but it also includes the Department of Homeland Security. So what Democrats have been pushing for and were ultimately able to secure in an agreement with the White House is to split off that DHS funding.
The agreement to avoid a partial shutdown will need the approval of the House, which is not expected to return to Washington until Monday. CBS's Wendy Gillette on what's new in the latest release of Jeffrey Epstein files by the Justice Department.
The newly released files include an email in which convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein asked Tesla founder Elon Musk to join him in the Caribbean for Christmas in 2013, along with filmmaker Woody Allen. Another released email is from First Lady Melania Trump to Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell in 2002, congratulating her on a nice story about Epstein in New York Magazine and signed, Love, Melania.
Actor Catherine O'Hara has died. She was 71. CBS's Matt Wolf looks back.
Toronto native Catherine O'Hara was a writer for that city's famed Second City sketch comedy troupe, then as Gilda Radner's understudy.
You're not going to blow me up, are you?
When she left, O'Hara became a regular alongside the likes of Eugene Levy and John Candy.
Kevin!
In the 80s, new levels of fame, starring in hits like the Home Alone films and Beetlejuice.
You can't put a price on dignity.
She also starred in TV hits like Schitt's Creek and The Studio with Seth Rogen. Matt Wolf, CBS News.
Stocks closed down on Wall Street. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to CBS Mornings on the go on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, a national shutdown movement in protest of immigration enforcement. That's after Nate Connors at the traffic desk.
Hey, thanks, Aaron. This report brought to you by Subaru of Puyallup. In Renton, WashDOT just cleared that stalled South 405 just past Northeast 44th, but it left it with a gnarly backup starting near I-90. Bellevue to Renton has spiked to a 45-minute commute. That's a 20-minute delay. And now we have a northbound 405 looky-loo backup starting as you head into the Renton S-curves. Renton to Bellevue, just a 5-minute delay. Here in Seattle, North 5, we've got scattered backups as you approach the West Seattle Bridge across the Ship Canal. Of course, Revive I-5 blocks 2 left lanes at the Ship Canal Bridge. Plan on 20 to 25 minutes to clear this. South 5 doing pretty good. You're a little slow from 80th in the downtown. Linwood to Seattle still just under 20 minutes. And now southbound 167 starting to fill in the south end between Algona and Sumner. Everywhere else, you're doing fine. Confident winter driving starts at Subaru of Puyallup. Find stress-free pricing at SubaruofPuyallup.com and enjoy stress-free buying experience at Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM. Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granello. A nationwide strike is planned for today as businesses across the country will close to protest the fatal shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minnesota by federal officers.
Here in Seattle and across western Washington, dozens of businesses will be closed. In Seattle, the Pink Door says it did not have enough time to organize its business for a full shutdown, but it will be donating 10% of its sales for the entire day to the National Immigrant Justice Center. The Trump administration maintains agents acted in self-defense in the Minnesota shootings. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Said a police officer was injured this week during an arrest near Mount Baker. Police say officers spotted a car parked illegally with no plates. They found a man inside drinking alcohol. Investigators say that man is a recently convicted felon and tried to hide a revolver. Officers say he fought back. A taser was deployed. One officer later went to the hospital for evaluation. It appears photo speed enforcement is about to go live along I-5 North across the Ship Canal Bridge. KIRO News Radio's Chris Sullivan got onto the freeway via the Harvard ramp today.
What's interesting, they have finally added the 50-mile-an-hour speed limit sign here to what was the speed work zone camera photo enforcement sign. Up until today, they had not had a 50 there. So it looks like enforcement is about to begin.
Cameras are staged near the 45th Street off-ramp. Sully says drivers should expect overnight enforcement once traffic is lighter. Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson cooking up a new bet with Boston Mayor Michelle Wu as the Seahawks get ready to face the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 60. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports.
Mayors Wilson and Wu are in serious negotiations over what they're willing to put on the line as the Hawks play the Pats next Sunday.
There's been some talk of Dungeness crab and lobster. Also some talk about, wearing each other's jerseys while riding public transit.
Wilson recently made good on her reverse bet, sending local coffee to LA Mayor Karen Bass.
In retrospect, it's a little strange because we won.
Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Now to your weather update. Showers off and on today. More rain overnight and into the mornings. Pretty dry for the rest of the afternoon Saturday, and pockets of dry weather for Sunday as well. Right now, looking at 50 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. We're going to do a little something different right now. Normally on Fridays for the 2 o'clock segment, we do a Friday Favorites where we look back on the week and we play audio that we just love throughout the week or for whatever reason. Doesn't matter why we like it, but we like it. But today, we found out just before we went on the air that Catherine O'Hara, who is just an angel, she passed away at the age of 71. She had a brief illness, her family said, and she passed away. It's very, very sad. I don't know a single person that you could mention that name to who doesn't go, oh my gosh, I loved her in... Take your pick. I mean, she has been in the public eye in a positive way for the last 40 years.
Yeah, about mid-'80s.
Mid-'80s.
Yeah. I think I heard in Aaron's. I didn't realize. I knew she was with Second City.
Yeah.
SCTV was eventually when they brought it to air out of Canada.
Yeah.
That she was Gilda Radner's understudy at SCTV.
Oh, she really?
in Second City.
Wow.
Yeah, Second City was the Chicago comedy scene, right?
You know what's wild is how many people came out of SCTV.
Yeah.
And also like all these, because she was Canadian, Catherine O'Hara was Canadian, and she's like goes way, way, way back with Eugene Levy, with John Candy,
Dwayne Thomas,
Rick Moranis, Dwayne Thomas, Martin Short.
Incredible to believe all that talent was in one room.
Gilda Radner, all these people, Bill Murray. You're just like, how is it possible that all these people have known each other and used to hang out together when they had nothing?
Well, that's and how they you heard the term steel sharpens steel, right?
Yeah.
When you're working with Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara, Bill Murray, John Candy, Eugene
100%.
Levy, you got to up your game.
Yes.
Or you don't get stage time.
That's totally right.
And that's what a training ground for these guys.
She was also, I was just looking at all these pictures just showing her. Beautiful.
Beautiful woman.
71 years old. Beautiful woman. She will be deeply, deeply missed. What is when you think of Catherine O'Hara, what's the first thing that you see her in? What do you picture?
Oh, she's Kevin's mom.
Kevin's mom.
That's, it's, and not to undervalue any of the work that she did. She's a brilliant comedian.
Yeah.
But to me, because Home Alone may be the perfect Christmas movie. It may be perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. We watch it Home Alone 1 and 2 are those timeless Christmas movies.
Yeah.
They made like a Home Alone through 6 or 7 or something. But
I think
obviously
she's in the first two, I think.
She's in the first two.
Yeah. But, one of the things that I loved about her, given her experience with Second City and the movies of Christopher Guest, the improv movies of Waiting for Guffman, Best of Show, A Mighty Wind.
Oh, everything she did with Christopher Guest.
That these are all improvised. I had Laura pull a clip from Home Alone.
Okay.
With her and John Candy, because it wasn't just Kevin.
I can play it here, Laura. I have it here.
Yeah.
This is her and John Candy. Is this when they're in the van?
Yes.
Okay. This is her and John Candy in the van. And remember in the movie, right, he's giving her a ride.
She's trying to get home, right? Planes, trains, and automobile, but just to get home.
Yeah.
With his polka band.
With his polka band.
Right.
Polka, polka, polka.
Tell me, have you ever gone on vacation and left your child home?
No. But I did leave one at a funeral parlor once. Yeah, it was terrible, too. I was all distraught and everything, the wife and I. We left the little tyke there in the funeral parlor all day. All day. We went back at night when we came to our senses. And there he was. Apparently he was there alone all day with a corpse. Now, he was okay, after 6-7 weeks. And I came around, started talking again. But he's okay. They get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about this.
Well, you brought it up. I was just trying to cheer you up.
Sorry, I did.
They improvised that entire scene.
Are you serious?
That entire scene was improvisation.
Her reaction to that, too, she's so great because she's not trying to step on his toes and she's not trying to score.
Right.
But in doing so, she actually kind of outdoes him a little bit. Yeah. She's so subtle. He tells his horrible story, and that story is meant to comfort her because she left her son alone.
Right. He was okay after 6 or 7 weeks.
Talking again. She goes, maybe we shouldn't talk about this. She goes, I wish maybe we shouldn't. I mean, so funny. Laura, for you, and this is what she's so amazing. I mean, she's different generations all remember her for different things, and she's just like the apex of all of those different, she's just brilliant comedic actress in all different generations. But Laura, what's the one that you remember her from?
I was first introduced to her with Schitt's Creek, which is as Moira Rose.
Yeah.
And then I went back and watched most of her catalog, Best in Show, Beetlejuice. But the scene in Schitt's Creek is just... I watched this episode with my mom. It was around pandemic time. We were catching up on the show, and we cried laughing at this entire scene.
Hi, I'm Moira Rose, and if you love fruit wine as much as I do, then you'll appreciate the craftsmanship and quality of a local vintner who brings the muskmelon goodness to his oak Chardonnay and the dazzling peach crab apple to his Riesling Rioja. Come taste the difference good fruit can make in your wine. You'll remember the experience, and you'll remember the name, Herb Ervlinger. Bert Herngreif. Irv Herblinger. Bing Livehanger. Bert Herkern.
So funny.
Hilarious. Yeah, and they hate the wine, by the way.
But she drinks enough.
She drinks enough that she can't say the name of the place.
So Herb Ertlinger, is that the name of the wine? Herb Ertlinger? Apple wine or some stupid
She said
thing?
she loved playing these bizarre characters that were oblivious to the impact they had on the world. Moira Rose being the perfect example. That's her playing a kind of a star past their prime. The limelight had long
100%.
faded, but couldn't let go of celebrity in this little tiny town of.
I love how she calls her baby a baby.
A baby.
Baby.
But what a comedic, just a gift, an absolute comedian. And she could do anything.
Here's a few clips of her in Schitt's Creek. My wife and I, we only watched Schitt's Creek when it was about to start its final season.
It was 2015 through 20, I believe. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. So it was about to start its final season, and we were like, "Oh, we should probably check this show out."
Yeah, my mom and I were also latecomers to the show in the same way.
Which was fun though, because then we could just binge it.
Totally. Yeah.
But you also want to savor it because that show is so good. And it's so great too because it's Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara who do have a special connection. Like I know they were married to different people in real life, but if they had ever gotten married themselves,
they learned the trade together at SC.
They're a perfect pairing.
Yeah,
they pair them up in
Best in Show,
A Mighty Wind,
yeah.
which we'll play some audio from in just a second. But
please.
this is Moira from Schitt's Creek. Pretty funny.
I've been gutted. John, I've been stripped of every morsel of pleasure I earned in this life.
Do you not know my middle name?
Of course I do.
It's her daughter.
I blessed you with it.
Okay, so then what name should I put down then?
Alexis something Rose. Oh, hello, you. I'm film and television's Moira Rose. Won't you join me for a little stroll through the slice of paradise I like to call the town where I currently am?
She doesn't know.
Keep an eye on these bags. Apparently in hell there's no bellman.
It's so over the top, and she's just perfect in it. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
One of my absolute favorite performances that she does is in A Mighty Wind, which like many families, just obsessed with all the Christopher Guest movies, the way that they film those. And those are improvised, right?
Every scene in those movies are improvised. They have the characters are this is who you are, and they build their own character backstories, and they just take roll after roll after roll and keep the great stuff. And I don't know how you cut any of it because it's all great stuff.
What's her name? Is it Cookie
Fleckman, right?
Cookie Fleckman.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
In Best in Show.
Best in Show.
And she's like,
they're people. This is about a dog show. If you haven't seen Best in Show, first off, folks, do yourself a favor.
If you like this show, go watch Best in Show. Because we both love it so much. So if you enjoy us, then you will definitely enjoy that.
If you get us, you'll get that.
But do you remember in that? So she's married to Eugene Levy in that, and he's like kind of a dork.
He's
with
a total doofus.
with 2 left feet, literally.
Yeah.
And she is probably used to be a very popular girl, and she was very popular because she went around with a lot of guys. And so everybody she meets is somebody that she had some past with.
A past lover. Yeah.
Eugene Levy's just sitting there, just having to endure all this for the entire movie. It's the funniest thing. But this is them in, I want to play this clip from Mighty Wind because it's just beautiful. She plays a folk singer opposite Eugene Levy's folk singer character, and their folk music duo name was Mitch and Mickey.
Right.
And then they have this.
They were the darlings of folk music in the 60s.
In the 60s, yeah. In this Christopher Guest movie, Mighty Wind. And the story is that they haven't been together for a long time. They've both gone off and basically left the music industry behind because they've had this tumultuous breakup.
Right.
And now they're celebrating folk music again, this big festival. They've been invited back as kind of like the star closing act. And the big question that everybody has in their mind, like, are they going to sing that song together that they're famous for called A Kiss at the End of the Rainbow? And then they sing the song on the show. And then the question is, well, are they going to kiss? Because that's what they did when they did it originally.
That was their thing, their trademark thing.
What's so beautiful about this movie is they're both really doing it. And they're really beautiful. They really sound like great
they're
folk
actually
singers.
performing, yeah.
I mean, Eugene Levy he's a good musician, and I assume that she is as well, or she's just a great actress who learned it for this part. But this song was written by Michael McKean. Did you know that?
I did not.
Michael McKean and his wife wrote this. From Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
And I think he got nominated for an Oscar for this song.
Nice.
And so anyway, here's a little bit of that. This is Mitch and Mickey singing. And this is, of course, Catherine O'Hara as Mickey. And man, this song hits a little extra hard knowing that she's no longer with us. But here's a little bit of that.
My sweet, my dear, my darling, you're so far away from me. Though an ocean of tears divides us, let the bridge of our love span the sea.
Your kiss, there's a kiss at the end of the rainbow.
Will they, won't they? Will they, won't they? They kiss.
More precious than a pot of gold.
Oh, isn't that just so sweet? I just saw this post, too, that Macaulay Culkin posted. He obviously played Kevin McAllister in the Home Alone movies. But he posted a photo of her and him when, I think that movie came out. Was it 1991? Was that the first movie? That sounds about right, doesn't it? Maybe
Home
90.
Alone?
Maybe 90.
90, I think.
90? Okay, 90.
Or it was.
I think you're right. I think it was 1990.
Because Beetlejuice was first, and then Home Alone came out.
She's a
88, 90.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Good golly.
Right.
1990.
1990.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1990. It's a picture, that famous picture where she finally makes it home after all of her travails to
Right,
get home and
right.
that horrible ride with John Candy.
She jumps to the front door and
She
yells
gets to the
his
front
name.
door. She yells his name. He runs up, and they have that meeting at the bottom of the stairs. They're looking at each other, and she's kind of bent down because he's just a tiny little kid. I
Yeah.
think he was 7 when they filmed that movie. And she gives him a hug and says, "I love you," and all that stuff. And then there's a matching photo that he posted of recently when I believe it was either her or him were getting their star.
He got his star on the Walk of Fame.
And he invited her
She was there
to
with
be
him.
there.
Yeah.
His mom,
She
his
always,
on-screen
yeah,
mom.
she always stayed in touch with him and friendly with him, and even
it's
though the horrible times of his life.
It's like a matching of the two photos, like one over the other. And he posted this very sweet. He says, "Mama, I thought we had more time. I wanted more. I wanted to sit in a chair next to you. I heard you, but I had so much more to say. I love you. I'll see you later." Wow. Isn't that so sweet?
That really is beautiful.
I mean, man, what a sweet lady. What a sad, sad thing that she passed away. But man, what an amazing career that she had.
It's moments like this when you lose someone that you a fan of from the consumer, whether it's a musician, or it's an actor or whomever it is, that their body of work is still there for you to enjoy. And it's almost like, you ever see these things nowadays where they can take an AI photo of your grandma, and they can bring them to motion likeness, right?
Yeah, I did that the other day for my mother-in-law. She has a picture of She has a picture of her and one of her sisters who's no longer with us, and her other sister when they're little girls,
right?
And they're all standing next to a frozen ice rink in Butte, Montana, back in like 1950,
right?
1948 or something,
right?
And I made it come to life and move around. But continue. I'm sorry.
Well, when we lose someone like Catherine O'Hara, we have this body of work, and like we always have a piece of her.
Yeah.
That because we didn't know her but. Great actors that you feel like you do know them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They bring these characters to life. When I said the first thing you asked me, what do you think of when you think of Catherine? It was Kevin's mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's comedic. But it's a heartfelt comedic role, and you feel like you know her, and you can go back and watch it all the time, anytime you want to. I can't wait to dig back into her catalog, watch some SCTVs.
Oh my gosh, her and SCTV. She's just the funniest person in the room. She's just the funniest person in the room.
Brilliant comedian.
Also,
actor.
I'm going to go back and watch. It's a good excuse to go back and watch Schitt's Creek again, which is the best, absolute best. All right, she will be very, very missed, but I think she led an amazing life, and obviously leaves behind a family who loved her, and that's all you can ask for.
The Hollywood community. I mean, everybody from you name it. From of course. Eugene Levy and Ron Howard, who had a chance to work with us, wrote something touching today. Mike Myers,
nice.
who is, and she was Canadian royalty.
Oh, yeah.
With World of Canadian Comedy. There's some great comedians come out of Canada, but she was the crown jewel.
If you want to see something very, very sweet, did you see that documentary they just did recently, I Like Me?
John Candy documentary, yes, and she's paramount in that.
She's very prominent in that because she was a dear friend of his. And did you see one of the speeches? I mean, they had a number of people speak at his funeral.
Yeah.
But she got up and gave a speech, and they have that in the documentary.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want to be moved to tears and also, laughing, like bittersweet laughter, it's you should check it out. All right, we got a lot more coming up, so don't miss a second of it. We're going to be back here in just a couple minutes, and feel free to text us on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476. We got all your text messages and all that coming up, so stick around. We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Davis Law Group.
Does my voice sound pretty good?
Better than I thought it would.
The John Curley Show.
I was really trying to work with my diaphragm.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I was screaming as everybody else was screaming, and all of a sudden the muscles in my neck tightened up and it shut off blood in my head. I thought I almost passed out. I was so close.
What if you died?
Well, I would have been paying no attention to me like, get up, Dad.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Veterans, the new year's a good time to re-examine finances. If you're struggling with bills, VA loan expert Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says he may have a solution.
Many veterans are sitting on a lot of home equity, and even with a low mortgage rate, your total monthly payments may be a struggle. The good news is with today's lower VA loan rates, you can do a VA cash-out refinance and pay off your high-interest rate debt and roll everything into one low monthly payment. For example, one VA client saved more than $1,200 per month. And remember, with a VA loan, you can buy a home with no money down.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. Whether you're a veteran or seeking a conventional loan, you'll talk directly to me or an experienced senior advisor, never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust. From Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage. 425-649-6000.
This is one of those topics that no one really wants to think about, but if you're a parent, a homeowner, married, or helping take care of aging parents, it's something that honestly deserves a little attention. I'm talking about estate planning. And before you tune out thinking it's complicated or expensive, that's actually why I want to mention Trust and Will. Trust and Will makes estate planning feel way less intimidating than it sounds. They offer modern, attorney-designed wills and trusts that you can create online. And the process is surprisingly straightforward. In fact, you can create a will in as little as 30 minutes. That includes things like guardianship for your kids or pets, how your assets are distributed, and even healthcare directives. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your loved ones with Trust and Will, the most trusted name in online estate planning. Go to trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. That's trustandwill.com/plan for 20% off. trustandwill.com/PLAN.
What a good move I made. Let me tell you a quick story. I've done a whole bunch of races and a bunch of other stuff like that, and my left hip started bothering me about 5 years ago. And I go to the doctor, and he's like, you need a hip replacement. I was like, I'm 60. Yeah, we're going to ask you to wait a little while because we don't want you to wear the hip out. We want you and the hip to go into the grave at the same time. I said, what do you do about all this pain? Well, you could, aspirin, and you could continue to do this and that and, sleep with a pillow between your legs. I was like, no, I don't want to do this. Then I was talking to Bob Stelton over there at the sports department. So he went to Dr. Mark Wagner, and I think he had his hip done as well. So I go in there. I said to Dr. Wagner, can you fix my hip? Takes a look at the MRI. Yes. So I got the stem cell procedure. I'm telling you something. This is the best. If you've been thinking about, surgery for your knee, your wrist, your shoulder, or hip. No. Check out Dr. Mark Wagner and go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. So glad, so thankful that Molly and I made the call. Had heard so many First Mark Challenge victories, we needed to take that challenge. What does happen from your perspective when that caller, when that email, when that person reaches out to you for a First Mark Challenge victory?
That's a great question. So there's several steps we go through in the process. The first step is we're going to gather information, find out all we can about that client and what their needs are. The next step is we will go out to the market. We have dozens and dozens of carriers that will compete for the business. At the end of that process, we will then bring those findings back to the customer, show them what we found, and who the eventual winner was in that competition.
And it may be who they're with.
It might be, yes. And sometimes that's the best we can do is recommend they stay where they are, but maybe modify a few coverages to put them in a better position.
So go take that challenge today. Go be the next First Mark Challenge victory. It costs you nothing, and they will be there with you every step of the way. FirstMarkInsurance.com. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
How about a New Year's resolution where the commitment takes just one day and the results can last a lifetime? Address years of hair loss like I did with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment. Using your own natural hair, Advanced Hair can restore your bald spot, receding hairline, or thinning. All backed by Advanced Hair's guarantee. Celebrate the new year with a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Guys, your New Year goals start now. Get limited time savings on our most popular treatments at Revive Men's Health. Visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to see if you qualify to save hundreds.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granello. This just into the newsroom. ESPN is now reporting the Seattle Seahawks will be put up for sale after the Super Bowl. League and ownership sources say talks have quietly been underway for at least a week. Team has been controlled by Jody Allen since the 2018 death of her brother and former owner Paul Allen. His directive did call for the Hawks to eventually be sold, with proceeds going to charity. NFL and the team are not commenting on this report. The president of the Seattle Police Union is not on board with the mayor's plan that requires police to investigate reports of federal immigration activity. Mike Solon tells the Jason Rantz Show on Seattle Red he feels officers are being used as political pawns.
We're pushing back pretty hard, saying, no, we're not going to support your toothless rhetoric, the virtue signaling.
Mayor Wilson is directing police to use their body and dash cameras to document reports of ICE activity in the city, part of a 5-point plan to prepare Seattle for a surge of increased immigration enforcement. City Council member Bob Kettle chairs the Public Safety Committee. He tells KIRO 7 TV.
We have to ensure that our community is safe and then that we're moving forward.
Mayor's plan also prohibits federal agents from using city-owned property for civil immigration enforcement. U.S. Senate will be working late tonight, hoping to avoid a government shutdown. An agreement reached between the White House and Senate Democrats would temporarily freeze DHS spending, says CBS's Nicole Killian.
This is basically a deal to split off government funding. There are 6 bills bundled into a package that fund a variety of government agencies, defense, state, labor, education, and other departments, but it also includes the Department of Homeland Security. So what Democrats have been pushing for and were ultimately able to secure in an agreement with the White House is to split off that DHS funding.
Some hardline Republicans, however, are not on board, but the Senate has now begun a series of votes. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk at 2:32 with Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, our trip between Bellevue and Renton is getting back to a normal 25 minutes now, down from 45 a half hour ago. South 405 is still stop and go from Southeast 8th and Bellevue to the Renton Landing. You'll really start to thin out after 112th North 405 still slows through the Renton S-curves. Here in Seattle, North 5, we've got scattered backups approaching the West Seattle Bridge across the Ship Canal, where Revive I-5 blocks your 2 left lanes. It's about 25 minutes to clear this, and then this now has westbound 520 jammed up at Montlake Boulevard. Southbound 99, we're bumper to bumper through the downtown tunnel. Obviously, we've got a blocking problem, but I've yet to hear any reports or details on this. And South 5 is slow from Northgate into downtown, Linwood to Seattle, 20 minutes. Outside of this, no surprises out there. We do have a wind advisory that just went into effect at the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Now to your forecast, looking at cloudy skies and some showers off and on this afternoon, but mainly dry for tomorrow afternoon and then rain at times for Sunday. Right now, 52 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're going to get to a bizarre traffic camera story in just a second because I didn't realize they could have traffic cameras for going too slow, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Can we talk about the Seahawks potential sale?
Yeah.
Aaron just had this in the news break. I was just reading about it on ESPN, as were you, I believe.
When Aaron came in and said that, my jaw hit the floor.
I know. I immediately was like, oh, no.
Well, Aaron Granillo, you said apparently this has been a long-established plan for the Hawks.
Yeah, this was in Paul Allen's directive before he passed. He also owns the Trailblazers. He wants both of those franchises sold off to go to charity. Now, if I recall, the Blazers, they have been sold off. I might be making that up.
No, I think it's $2 billion they got for
it.
Yeah.
So that, and this was always
in an unsolicited bid.
So this was going to happen. Yeah. And now we know that it looks like after this Super Bowl run, this Sunday, the Seahawks will be put on the market.
It'll be the first time in the Super Bowl era that a team has been sold off in its entirety after playing for a championship. The Giants, I read, they sold half the Giants the year after they won it in 91. But there was also a caveat in Allen's wishes that if they sold the team prior to a certain deadline, the state of Washington would receive 10% of the proceeds. That would ensure that the team not abandon the city of Seattle.
So they're waiting. They waited past it. So Seattle doesn't get a chunk of that anymore?
Washington State doesn't get a chunk of the sale at this juncture.
Good. They just waste that money anyway.
Well, I get it. I wonder about the timing of this announcement.
This is perfect timing.
I don't know.
Really?
Let me ask.
We're about to go in and hopefully win a Super Bowl. Like, is there any... Who wouldn't want a Super Bowl winning team?
Is it going to distract the team at all? Will they be getting questions? I mean, when focuses everything when you're trying to win a Super Bowl, every little detail, distractions are horrible.
That's a great question.
I can't imagine that the team leaked this information.
No,
They're not commenting. They
don't
ask for comment, won't comment.
Yeah.
Right? No one's commenting on this, but the story broke from a source close with inside information about the situation. They've been talking for the last week or so.
That's an interesting
about potentially selling the team off. I can't imagine that anybody inside that organization wants there to be anything.
Yeah, like Sam Darnold doing some I mean, we're coming up on Media Week, which is just the craziest week in all of sports media.
And we're going to have tons of Seattle sports reps down there.
Yes.
I think G. Scott's going down. We've got our social media team going down.
All the 710 guys. And so we're going
to bring you everything you possibly could want to know.
Yes.
Without having to pay for parking in there, which is $120 a spot. No matter where you go, when you go.
Gosh, horrible to park.
We got your access.
But you're right. They're going to be asked about this.
How can it's
now? There's no danger of them being relocated. This is a Seattle team. That's not happening.
I would think that I don't know about Paul. I didn't know Paul Allen's intent to sell the team for philanthropic reasons. He wants to donate.
Did you
all
see
his
how
money
much the team is being valued at? Like what they estimate they could go for?
Between $7 and $8 billion.
$billion.
That's incredible.
It's good money, real good money.
And you're right, man. Why wouldn't you want to sell it off at the height of its value?
This is, if you're gonna sell it, this would be the season to do it. You have a team that's great, that's young, that you have, your core guys. You've got them locked in for a while. They have a lot of potential. You've got a new coach that's like
it's amazing.
Hottest thing in football.
Yeah, but we're
not physically. But
we're never going to. He's a good-looking guy.
He's a good-looking guy.
But he's no Joe Burrow.
I'm a happily married man. All I'm saying is he's a very successful coach. Second year brings his team to the Super Bowl.
Big bright future for this team. I get your point absolutely.
A sexy future.
Are we ever though going to be the value of say a Dallas Cowboys?
I mean, we can't
because of market size, right? Is that the thing?
I don't know. I mean, they were so the marketing around the Cowboys is really interesting because they're America's team.
Sure.
I mean, like, whoever came up with that.
Genius.
Genius.
They did, by the way.
Genius.
Whoever sold it to Jerry Jones. And right before, probably he sold it to Jerry Jones.
Have you watched that documentary, by the way, on Netflix about the Cowboys and Jerry Jones and his background and how he got...
I know very much of his background.
Unbelievable.
I got to tour that building once. I got to go down there and
Did you really?
I saw the Hawks play the Cowboys there and got to go on a tour of the building. Yeah, and it's like the regular, media tour.
Sure.
It wasn't like Jerry walked me in his booth. But we did get to walk to Jerry's little booth, which is literally you walk out and it's on the 50-yard line, and it's raised
Sweet.
above the seats, his private viewing space. It's reminded me of Star Wars with the Empire.
Oh, yeah.
That's got that little elevated platform. That's what Jerry Jones' private booth felt like down there.
Yes.
He's
starting to look a little bit like Palpatine, too.
A little bit. Same, they act a lot alike. But my point being, are we ever going to be as big as the, pick your point, whether it's
your LAs, your New York,
the Rams,
big
the Raiders,
teams.
right, the Giants organization. I think we can be because we've got everything in place. They got a tremendous facility, tremendous stadium, tremendous fan base.
I would say yes. Anything is possible in success.
Yes,
right?
yes.
You look at a team like the Chiefs. They should not be as famous as they are, but everybody loves a winner.
You're right.
Perfect example,
That's
right?
exactly right. Yeah, Kansas City?
Who
Who the
cares
hell
about
wants to go to
Kansas
Kansas City?
And
right?
yet, for the last 10 years, they have dominated all the conversations. They're dating pop stars.
Your kid wears a Chiefs jersey.
My traitor kid, up until we got Darnold, was wearing a Mahomes jersey.
Sure. Well, that's the thing. You get
but
the
no
star.
more. He doesn't anymore.
He's got a
Do you want to know why?
He's got a JSN jersey.
Because he likes a winner.
Yeah.
So now he's a JSN guy and he's a Darnold guy. He loves the Seahawks.
I love it.
He's always loved the Seahawks. He's always been a hometown guy. But now he got rid of the Chiefs stuff.
Attaboy.
We don't even talk about the Chiefs in the house anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be. I hope it won't be a distraction for this ball club.
Who's going to buy him? Who's got $8 billion? Who's got $8 billion to buy a team like this?
The only person in town that can afford to buy this team is selling this.
The only
team.
person who could buy it is selling it.
Well, Bezos could.
Bezos could.
Right? If he wants to play in this arena, I'm sure he loves all things egotistical.
He was the first person that came to my mind as a potential
He's
owner.
got $7 billion to throw around. Gates could.
But I would say this about Bezos. Does he have the local? Do you need any local sway right now at all? Or has he done...
Has he burned this bridge?
Has he burned a bridge?
Has he burned his floating bridge to this fan base?
Because he moved out of town.
Great question.
Are people going to be a little shy on him?
Yeah.
And does it even matter? I mean, there's not a whole lot of people in the world who can write a check for $8 billion.
That's true. Very true.
It's a short list.
Belinda Gates. How cool would that be?
Belinda Gates.
She's got that kind of cash. At least to be a majority owner and bring in other investors.
Bill Gates.
Not Bill.
He wants a little distraction from the news today.
He needs a good PR.
I'll take it.
He needs a
I'll
good
buy
PR.
it.
I'll tell you what, if Bill Gates buys it along with some kind of medical facility that can treat sexually transmitted diseases as a minority owner, a match made in heaven.
Perfect. He could call it STD Stadium or whatever it is. South of Seattle, town, something. That's horrible. What a wild story that is.
I know.
You can read about that at mynorthwest.com. There's some crazy rumors going around and accusations and all that stuff.
We need to talk about that 3 million documents released today.
I'd rather talk about Seahawks getting sold.
I'd rather talk about traffic cameras on the bridge. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, what are they doing, traffic cameras? Do we have audio of this, Laura?
Sully gave us the scoop. Yeah.
All right, let's hear from Chris Sullivan.
Hold on. No, I can see him.
Oh, here he is.
Here it is. Thank you. Still not hearing him. Because he's going...
So Chris Sullivan in this video, I don't hear any audio, but he's driving up onto the Ship Canal Bridge, and what he's noticing is there are now signs, because it's a construction zone, there are signs about a reduced traffic speed, which I think is, 50-something? 50?
I think it's 50, yeah.
Might be 50.
Yeah.
And there are also now...
speed limit sign here to what was the speed work zone camera photo enforcement sign. Up until today, they had not had a 50 there. So it looks like enforcement is about to begin as people realize that it's 50 miles an hour here. And as you will see, the camera is set up at the end of the construction zone. So a change today in the tactics, and now they are legal because there is a speed limit sign in addition to the photo enforcement head sign. So let's continue through the work zone.
There he goes. He's going. Okay, I think we get it.
Is he up to 50?
Okay, here's the
Is
thing.
he going to break the law on camera?
This feels to me like a little bit of wish casting. I don't know. It's almost like they're suggesting it as a way to trick people into forgetting that they are going 10 miles an hour.
You're not going that slow.
You're going 4, buddy. I posted a video the other day of me on the Ship Canal Bridge, and I went from 4 miles an hour down to 3, down to 2. You're not moving.
Right.
There's no speed that's happening on Ship Canal. I could run.
Is this a PR move? This is just.
I think it's a.
This is assuaging our frustration about the bottleneck and the traffic flow speeds we're dealing with.
They're putting up fake traffic cameras to make you believe that at some point
you could speed here.
You might go 50.
Right. By the way, those cameras aren't in effect unless workers are present.
Yeah,
work zone cameras are not in effect unless there are workers present.
I believe that's the
case. And you're never going to hit 50.
The fine's double in a work zone. Don't forget that.
That might as well say 15. You're never going to hit 50 when there's workers present.
They are more likely to catch an eagle flying by at
are they
over
subject?
50. It might be.
What? That's my defense in court. A bird flew by, Your Honor.
This was
the
a
radar
bird.
picked up a bird. It wasn't me.
That's
genius.
Let's try it. Let's see what happens. You couldn't even try it because there's no way you're going to get in court. There's no way you're going over 50 on that bridge. It's so slow. Ridiculous. All right, should we read some text messages next?
Sure, let's do that.
All right, let's do that. We'll be right back.
Holy smokes! For 40 years, he's been part of the soundtrack of summer across the Pacific Northwest.
The Grippies with back-to-back home runs!
KIRO Newsradio congratulates Rick Riz.
Everybody scores!
Season 41 may be his last, but it promises to be one to remember.
The modern-day Bambino, Cal Raleigh.
We can't wait. From KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Bible Law Group, we understand what it means to be local legal representation. From shopping at the Bon Marché, picking up gear at Chubby and Tubby, crying for Joey Cora, now for Cal, grabbing a burger while JP Patches clowns by. We live here and fight for you. That's why Bible Law gives local representation to those facing legal problems too big for prayers, even if you can't pronounce Squim or Puyallup. Our legal team has secured more than $40 million in settlements for our clients. We're ready to fight for you. Find us online at BibleLawGroup.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids.
KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
This is Lynn. She's always been active, maybe a little too active back in the day.
When I was 19 years old and immortal, I stripped out all my ligament and I had to have 6 knee surgeries, and that's on my right knee. And then my left knee finally gave out and had a torn meniscus.
Years of pain followed until she saw Dr. Mark Wagner at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'm 4 months out and I have no pain in my knees, and I have had knee pain my whole life. I have no concept of what it was like without pain. It's a miracle. I'm totally thrilled.
No pain, no limits.
Dr. Wagner gave me the green light to ski again this year. I'm like, that's incredible. So I'm just so excited.
After years of surgeries and setbacks, Lynn finally got her freedom back.
I think he saved my legs, so saved my knees, and gave me at least another 10, 15 years to do what I want to do.
If joint pain is holding you back, find out what stem cell therapy could do for you with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS. Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. Looking for a big selection of big trees? Visit Big Trees in Snohomish or BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we know the key to a long-lasting roof is yearly maintenance. Need an inspection, repair, restoration, moss removal, or just a cleanup? You can trust Guardian's licensed, insured, and expertly trained team. We offer free estimates, second opinions, and financing, giving you the peace of mind your home deserves. Call today. Our first-time customers can save $99 on our award-winning roof repair and cleaning service. Visit us at guardianroofing.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. We got so many good texts. Oh, my gosh. What a bunch of great topics we've had today. Super fun show, by the way.
It was, but we dropped the ball on something.
Yeah?
And, Lord, you have it from Rick and Bothell?
Oh, no.
I'm grabbing it right now.
Please do, because, what did we do today?
Did we forget a bird?
We did.
We didn't do a
bird
of the day.
We didn't do a bird. And Rick from Bothell noticed this and sent us.
All right, Rick, let's hear it.
We don't have audio, we have a visual.
Oh, we have a visual.
So we'll have to come up with our own bird call, maybe. Because I'm
How does that work?
Like, what's this? Can
you sent us a picture of a bird, and I wanted to share that with our listening audience.
I should have given Laura more notice. I apologize.
I'm moving as fast as I physically can.
Can you produce for me?
Here it is. Here it is.
It is.
Oh, that's a gorgeous bird.
Rick from Bothell has a great bird feeder, and this is the second day he sent us a bird of the day spotted at his
Oh, thanks, Rick.
Is that a barn swallow? What is that?
A spotted towie.
A spotted towie. Oh, it's a gorgeous bird.
Whereas Moira Rose would say, "Tahi."
Very nice bird.
Yeah. Thanks, Rick.
Okay, Laura, get us going somewhere here, and then we'll just keep it going.
Hold on, now I have to pull my text back up.
Pull your text back
sorry.
up.
Okay,
Spike, you start us. Somebody start us.
All right, on the national walkout to protest ICE, let me say this one. I agree with you, Jake. Boycotting local business and schools has nothing to do with not liking ICE, and it makes no sense to me.
Thank you, Christy. And I have nothing against boycotts. Boycott away all day if you want to. That's your right to do so.
206 says the fact that you're talking about the Friday shutdown stuff validates its effectiveness. If for no other reason, it gives visibility.
Fair point, 206.
See, and that's the thing. That's the beauty of this country, man.
If that brought 206 some joy, then I am here to bring you joy.
We can have opposing views and beliefs and stuff, and we can still get together on so many things. Like not selling this,
There you go. Okay, Bob and Edmonds says, I disagree with the effect of the walkout. It just made me mad at the protesters, made me want to shop more at local businesses. Unintended benefit. So great.
Well, that's always the effect of people who protest and they go too far. It always undermines the intent of your message.
It's just a shame for like a local business. That's all I'm saying. It's like, that's a bummer for them.
On vandalism from UW protesters, 206 says, Jake is spot on. I work for the UW. There's no accountability here, and any issue gets swept under the rug.
It does feel to me like they're trying to sweep this under the rug, doesn't it? Just a little bit?
Yeah.
No charges?
You know what? Somebody very smart in the building here said, I think UW's happy to lose $1 million in broken material not to have this story linger.
I said it.
Okay.
Who said it?
I
didn't want to credit you without permission.
I said it.
You know, the smartest thing I heard all day came from Laura, our producer. The smartest thing I heard all day.
That sounds right.
They don't want it. They'd rather spend $1 million.
253 had a funny line. Spike, they quoted us from earlier. Spike said, well, I know even less about this than when we started. And then Jake said, that's why we're here. We've done our job. 253 says, here I am, laughing out loud in the room by myself. Best line of the week. Thank you, 253. That is our goal.
And
to make you laugh.
it just fell out of our mouth. That's who we are.
It just fell out of our mouth.
Organically. It was improvised.
There you go. On Mayor Wilson's directive for SPD to not cooperate with ICE. Let's see here. Dinah and Everett says, everybody wants criminals arrested, but not arresting people who are here trying to become U.S. citizens. That's from Dinah and Everett.
Destiny in Seattle says, I honestly do not understand why criminals in prison should not be turned over to ICE.
And as somebody who's not a big fan of how they're doing their job, I fully agree with that sentiment. A person in jail who's been
convicted of a crime.
Yeah. I don't want them. If they're here illegally and committed crimes, I don't want them.
Yeah, we can do better than that. Let's see here. Should we do some Catherine O'Hara memories?
Yes.
Lomax and Sammamish says, Catherine sang almost all the female parts in The Nightmare Before Christmas. I did not know that.
I didn't either. As we were looking into her catalog of work, her body of work, and all the voice work that she did, and so many animated features, just a brilliant actor.
Yep.
Dinah and Everett said, what she did in Schitt's Creek was simply genius. I've watched all the episodes over and over again.
Yeah, she's amazing in that show. Amazing.
Stephen the 425 says, synchronicity comes around a lot with me, and today is no exception. I have a friend at work named Kevin. A running joke is whenever he comes around, we all yell, Kevin! Just like she did. I did that today at about 8 o'clock this morning. I will never forget the coincidence that happened today.
Yeah, that's so funny. And then Daniel in Tacoma says, just fold it in.
Just fold it in, David. I can't even do her. I can't do it.
If you watch the show, you'll know exactly what that reference is.
Do not sleep on Schitt's Creek.
Spike, let's end on these sale of the Seahawks.
Sure. Donna and Lacey says, could they have waited until after the Super Bowl to announce this?
All
that
caps.
Was the question you asked
right.
too.
I mean, is this going to be some kind of distraction? Oh.
Robin and Graham says, I think the Nordstrom family should buy the Seahawks back. They used to have them back in the 1980s. I mean, $8 billion. It's a lot of money. If they can come up with it, yeah, why not?
Matthew in Tacoma says, last time the Hawks were for sale, I wanted King, Snohomish, and Pierce counties to collect their money and buy it. You think we got $8 billion? That's sweet.
You want local government to own... You think about how poorly those teams would be run? They wouldn't even be able to win a game.
Nope,
they wouldn't win a single game. All right. Thanks for hanging with us. John Curley's coming up next. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.
Doubted.
More questions about Sam Darnold.
Underestimated.
I would say 10-7.
Questioned at every turn.
The question mark on this team is the offensive line.
We did not care. It's about us. It's always been about us and what we do. And now we're going to the Super Bowl.
The only place you'll hear Steve Rabel call the Seahawks and Patriots since Super Bowl 60, where the 12s hear the Hawks. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
I'm worried.
About what?
Water.
Oh?
Hot water, if you really want to know.
Water heater worries?
Worried it's wearing down.
Running out?
The hot doesn't last like it used to.
So you're
or
Worried.
I got a guaranteed fix.
Let me guess. A new water heater.
Right, but
that's what worries me.
Well, worry no more.
Why?
What you need is an Apollo Plumbing water heater.
Because?
We include Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
Wrenchy's what?
Worry-free warranty.
Which means?
When it wears out, we replace it.
No extra charge.
As an A-List Club member, you're covered for life.
For life?
For as long as you're an A-List member. You get annual life-extending water heater flushes included.
So it lasts longer.
Right.
And when it needs replacement,
you're covered.
With no worries.
Because it's Wrenchy's
worry-free warranty.
What else would you expect from the Ready Right Now plumbers?
Apollo Plumbing.
Home of Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
What about tankless ones?
Worry-free too.
Gotta love that Wrenchy.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com. Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision.
If you're over 50 and you've been diagnosed with a cataract, or your vision is changing as you're developing an early cataract, you could be a perfect candidate for K2 Vision RLE.
It's inevitable. At some point, typically in your 60s or 70s, you'll have a dysfunctional lens that eventually becomes a cataract. To restore your vision, you will someday need a procedure such as refractive lens exchange.
The question is, are you done with glasses? Do you want to spend your good, active years hassling with changing prescriptions and needing readers?
K2 Vision RLE can give you great vision now, permanently, and you'll never develop that cataract. The procedure is quick and painless, and our state-of-the-art custom lens technologies give highly predictable outcomes.
K2 Vision surgeons have performed nearly 100,000 procedures. We know when RLE is right for you.
Find out. Schedule a free Zoom consultation at k2visionrle.com.
K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers.
9 days until Super Bowl 60. The only station where you hear Steve Rabel call the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. KIRO